not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Yes, The Monty Show. My first day ever running the equipment here, of course. How the heck are you? We are, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365. You can get clear, risk-free advice no matter where you're hearing this show, theadvocates.com. You've been in a car wreck, theadvocates.com. Did you get hurt at work? Theadvocates.com. Did you get hit while you were riding your bicycle? Theadvocates.com. Where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates, you don't pay unless and until the advocates win your case. Look it up right now. As usual, here on a Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, the victims in the Big 12. I think it's hysterical that people... do you guys know what the ESPN FPI is? Jake, are you aware?
Well, listen, it's clearly, an SEC hater ranking, full of, skewed data that's biased against the Big 12, right? I mean, that's what everyone would have you believe. And, that's what everyone would, tell you that the FPI is.
The FPI is an analytics data-driven metric. So all of the Big 12 fans losing their minds.
Bro.
We're just being disrespected. ESPN, they're an SEC honk.
Yeah,
Well,
they have Feinbaum talking about this.
I'd remind you that ESPN is the media rights partner of the Big 12. So the FPI is 100% analytics. And
that's why we have Feinbaum.
Knowing some of the folks that put their hard-earned effort into creating the FPI, and trust me when I tell you, opinion has nothing to do with it. Opinion has nothing to do with it. The FPI is very, very blunt, and it is not something that is debatable. And the exact definition is it measures a team's strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward. FPI represents how many points above or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI results to date and the remaining schedule.
That's bullshit.
It's all data and analytics. So everybody who's, I can't believe that Oak State is 971st. Well,
I'm a man.
The metric, they don't lie. And if you go up and down and you look at all the numbers in the Big 12, the biggest issue is that Texas is 28.5% better than the average team. And if you look at Arizona, they're 1 point worse than the average team. If you look at Houston, 3.7. It represents how many points above or below the average team is. Houston is 3.7 below the average team, and it does not get better from there, friends. It only gets worse. But Texas State, by the way, the new behemoth of the Pac-12.
God. Just going to raise all the TV ratings and everything's going to be better.
Selling merchandise like you ain't have no belief.
Filling up that sandbox of a stadium. You know what I mean?
Texas State is minus 5.6.
Wow.
Wow. Which is only slightly worse than Oregon State, who's minus 4.5. Washington State, who's minus 7.6. Right? You start looking at some of these numbers, and I feel like the Big 12 and the fan bases of the Big 12 want to make this some personal bag slap. It's not personal. And the hardest part is this plays on the narrative that we've talked about on this show for months and months and months. You have to win every single snap. If you are a Big 12 football, basketball, stick and ball team, you got to win every single rep because you have zero room for error. Because you look at the top 3 teams in the ESPN FPI, and it is Texas, Georgia, and Bama. They're really not that close. There really isn't a whole lot of competition there. If you look at the FPI, this is for 2025. It's really not that close.
Yeah.
And so when we start asking, hey, is ESPN disrespecting the Big 12? The answer is an unequivocal no.
No, the Big 12 is disrespecting itself, bro.
Yes.
Like, maybe put out some better numbers and the FBI would be a little kinder.
And the issue is, you look here, there is one Big 12 team here, right, of note, and it's K-State, who is plus 10.8, better than the average. But you look at how many SEC teams, and I know the Big Ten's the best conference anybody's ever seen in the history of best conferences. Only problem is the data and the analytics don't say that. It says that Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are not that closely followed by Ohio State, cock on thigh, and
That's
Oregon.
the bottom line.
And Oregon, right? And then you get Notre Dame, Texas A&M, and then the Miami Hurricanes, who I think justifiably so. I think Miami's even better than this metric says.
Notre Dame, our mother.
At 17.5. And then it's Tennessee. What do you know? Another SEC team. Clemson. And then a whole run of SEC teams. LSU, my guy Lane Train, Auburn, South Carolina, nice cock. Oklahoma, Michigan, and then Florida, and then SC, and then SMU and K-State. And I just don't know anymore how long and what is it going to take for Big 12 fans to recognize it's not disrespect, it's just the facts of the matter.
Yes. The numbers say you are not as good as you think you are. Like, I don't know how we dispute this. Like,
and if we start really looking at it, Arizona State is 3 spots below K-State at plus 9.5. That's 9.5 points better than the average. Then you have BYU, and I don't know, does this include Jake Retzloff? Because BYU is 5 slots below Arizona State at a plus 8.4. But without Jake Retzloff, is BYU still a plus 8.4? I wouldn't think so, right? So you got to kind of look at that. They're immediately followed by Kansas at 8.4. TCU, the Horned Frogs, at 8.2. Baylor at 8.0. Texas Tech, and this is the one. Here's the one that stood out to me because we've talked about this at length on this show. I think Texas Tech is, in my opinion, the favorite to win the conference. On paper, not having played a game, portal, NIL, recruiting, I think Texas Tech is the favorite to win this conference. Yeah, the FPI doesn't agree because they're plus 7.4, significantly behind K-State, Arizona State, BYU, and Kansas.
Yeah.
And it does not get better from there. And I know, listen, this can't be right because I'm still scrolling down trying to find Oklahoma State. There they are.
So get your facts straight.
Now, again, I want to point out that Oklahoma State, who's had the best portal in the entire country, according to certain Oklahoma State fans.
I'm a man.
Hoss Hengy. Look at these coaches they brought in.
oh my God.
Monty.
Bro.
Come on, Marty.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
It's time to rip Oak State James because Oklahoma State is a plus 0.3.
Oh.
Yeah, next question.
It's not exactly a ringing endorsement for all those great portal play. Well,
the
Monty,
wide
our
receiver
offensive
room.
line.
I mean, the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
It's just going to be incredible.
Stribbling and stuff.
Such as in like.
And
So,
all
I'm saying is, listen, everybody freaked out when they saw the FPI list and, made it out like ESPN made a list to intentionally disrespect the Big 12. And it's just a math equation, dude. That's all it is. It is analytics, doing the math, ranking these teams.
Yep.
It's not some personal indictment on the Big 12. It's not, the Big 12 is a victim of ESPN.
But do Big 12 fans on the regular play the victim? I don't know if on the regular, but you hear it a lot.
I think we hear it a lot in CFP season. I think that Big 12 fan and much like ACC fan, but the fans of those two conferences like to say, oh, well, man, if we were in the SEC, we'd have gotten the nod. They'd have put us in. The committee's sliding us because we're in the Big 12. That's what we hear. That's at least what I think we hear.
I think we hear a lot of Big 12 and ACC fan playing the victim card. And I think it is very difficult to play the victim card when you simply do not win games. You can't have Oak State going winless. You can't have Utah falling on their face.
I bet.
You can't have 99.9% of the ACC irrelevant, including Florida State, and then have SMU go to the college football playoff. That's humiliating. And then when the FPI comes out, you're all upset that ESPN gaped you, but the numbers don't lie.
Macaque.
Right? The numbers don't lie. So I don't know how you're playing the victim here.
Yeah, just pop a Zen in and you'll be fine, okay?
Exactly. Packet full of Zen and everything will be great. So that's what I'm curious about in the comments section. Some of the more interesting things in here is like the playoff percentage. When you start looking at teams, like BYU's got a 12.6% chance of going to the college football playoff. Arizona State's got a 16.1% chance. K-State's got a 22% chance. So you're telling me 22% is the best this conference can do? Hey, I would remind you that Oregon's at 57%. Cock on thighs at 63.8%. What, did you prefer knuckle deep or what?
Q Janus.
Ohio State, the Ohio State is at 71%. Bama 66. Look at the precipitous jump to Georgia. Alabama's third in the FPI. They have a 66% chance to go to the playoff. Georgia's second, and they have a 79% chance to go to the playoff. Like, you start looking at just the percentages of these teams going to the playoff over on all the way to the right-hand side of your screen, third from the right. It goes Bama 66, Georgia to 79%. And then, of course, I know Texas isn't back yet, but 84% chance of going to the playoff, and then 37.7% chance to make the national championship.
Crazy.
You're out of your mind. And the only four teams that have a double-digit chance of winning the national championship are Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, Texas. It's unbelievable. And the Big 12's best option has a 1.3% chance of making the national championship. You guys,
come on,
you got to win more games.
You do.
It is what it be. Let's see.
Who was first in today?
I don't know. Let's go all the way back to the top here on the Monty Show. Welcome to the nightmare. He of new, what do you call the picture thing?
Your default image.
Yeah, your avatar thing, which is spectacular. Good afternoon, guys. No, good afternoon to you, sir. Lamont Tucker, hello. TJ Beck, what is the net when you play at Wacker Field, Monty? Not the gross. See what I'm like? The Texas State fan being pissed and admitting that they're not top 7 in the entire state of Texas yesterday was by far the home run of the comment section yesterday. Yeah, if you missed it, go watch the replay. It was unbelievable. Lamont says, as you come in, please hit the like button. Yes, I was again reminded. I have to tell you, hit the like button. Please go find our audio podcast. Anywhere you get your audio podcasts, please go listen to our audio podcast so people will stop stomping on my toes about it. Hey, Monty, we got to get the audio podcast numbers up. Hey, buddy, could you mention the audio podcast a few more times on the showroom?
You do something for me.
Go find the audio podcast. Go find audio podcast. Go
play intramurals, brother.
The audio podcast while you're playing intramural sports and listen to it.
Please.
Google search the Monty Show podcast. It'll come up. Apple, Spotify, you name it. Anywhere you get it, your podcast, it'll show up the Monty Show. Ferris Khan says, as I broke the news to y'all yesterday.
So have we all accepted that this is Ferris? Because I saw multiple people during the replay and in our comments section offline saying that this was Ferris Khan.
It has, because Ferris is the only one, in my opinion, who's come in here and made just complete stupid jackassery of himself with comments just like this. Because, you know, Pancho via Dickface wants everybody to believe, oh, well, Santa, oh, no, he left on his own. Oh, no, he was fired, Monty. We ran him off the campus. DEI phone. You're the only one who says that he was fired. So now we're not going to read any more.
People will read your positive shit.
No, we won't. Roche,
get that disgusting ass emoji off of our screen. Who do you think you are, dude?
Stop. Backwoods Mike Smith. Well, Bowlesby did send a cease and desist to ESPN as they were trying to get remaining teams to go to the ACC, if I recall correctly. How many years ago was that? But now they're in bed together. Put out whatever visual you need to on that. They're partners now.
Yeah.
And I just, you're going to have to go a long way if you're a fan of the ACC, and I know there's like 3 of you, or the Big 12. If you're a fan of the ACC or the Big 12, you're going to have to go a long way to make the case that ESPN's trying to damage you, because that makes no sense.
Them, dude.
It makes no sense whatsoever. Jesse Crum, Pancho Anadal, show us where Monty hurt you. Monty didn't hurt you. The issue is that Ferris doesn't want to admit, and if you look at Ferris Khan's comments, very clearly this is him. But my point is, Ferris doesn't ever want to admit that Jim Harbaugh is a scumbag liar who damaged the kids that went there to play for him, making them forever cheaters.
Facts.
Allowing Matt Weiss to run roughshod over the porn business at Michigan. Like, you look at the things that happened, it's absolutely disgusting and a disgrace.
Yes.
There's just no...
And should never happen again.
No. And Ward Manuel should be terminated and never allowed to work in education again. I mean, he is a disgusting, disgusting human being. And Jim Harbaugh is an absolute, in my opinion, he is absolutely a scumbag. The guy is a liar, in my opinion. I think he worked hard, in my opinion, to deceive the NCAA. I think he worked hard to deceive people into believing that somehow a guy who couldn't win a big game at Michigan all of a sudden figured out how to win a big game.
But Monty, they just reviewed more tape.
Go home and pack that in, Jim, because you're not here. Mr. Preston, hello. Happy Hump Day, casuals. Thank the Lord. Big Daddy Dallas. Monty Show over already? Exactly. Brandon Pontiff. One was yesterday's news. Make like Elsa Ferris and let it go. Yeah, like nobody cares about Michigan. Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares.
But we do have fun ripping them, just so we're on the same page.
It is fun.
It is fun, yeah.
It is fun. TJ Beck, a little help here. What color is Jake's shirt today? Sunset?
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to talk about it, dude. I mean, it's a clear, a clear deviation from the salmon color. And it's much more of like a, sort of a more red, less pink kind of color, I feel like. But I don't know. It's up for interpretation. So I'm open to the conversation on, what color you guys think my shirt is today. So
I think it is. I much more go with it. It is sturgeon. I have no idea what color sturgeon is, but I just,
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very interesting that we have a debate over the color of Jake's shirt and one indication that is about his sexual past and his purity, which we all know, frankly.
I'm a fucking unit.
You're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. So, Zach Lake, hello. Damian Fowler, hello. Hi, Salmon, Patty, Jake, and Marty.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, see?
Big Pontiff, the anticipation of the hammer makes it much worse. I would agree it probably does. Travis, FPI equals ESPN propaganda. But does it, Trav?
See, why do you think that? Well, like, what makes you say that, bro? Like, why do we lean this way?
Because people don't like the picture that it paints. I think it is very much that people struggle, with what I think people struggle with what others believe about their teams.
Listen, I understand you guys don't like the picture it paints about the Big 12. Like I'm down with that. I'm cool with that. And I'm even fine if you want to say you're not gonna respect the FPI because it doesn't paint a kind picture of the Big 12.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing than saying that ESPN's going out of their way to manipulate the FPI to paint a negative picture of the Big 12.
Yeah, you don't have to like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down if you want to talk about not liking it and what the Big 12's got to do about this, and how real world accurate is the FPI to what's actually going to happen. I'm down with that. I think we do that every year. I think we do that all the time. But to sit here, the assertion that ESPN has gone out of their way to somehow, I mean, I saw one person on, X earlier today saying that ESPN had rigged the FPI to, intentionally knock down the Big 12. And that's just not, it makes no sense, logically speaking. Like, it just does not. And I think we go too far sometimes with, well, this or that or the other, or conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat material. Like, we've seen how this works. ESPN is very much hey, we're A plus B equals C. Whether we're talking about boilerplate contracts with grant of rights situations or we're talking about the FPI, dude, like, it's very clear what it is.
Yeah, I think it is an analytic, data-driven metric.
And the problem is I think what and we can read it again if we have to, but I think what people do is they say, oh, well, the FPI is strength of schedule. That's what ESPN's doing. Because that's what I feel like we see every time we start going over the college football playoff. Oh, well, this is ESPN's, strength of schedule representation. This is their rankings. And it's like, well, actually, that's not the case, dude. It's a different formula.
This is over. And again, I will continue to tell you, the exact definition of this is projected results based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season. So the entire 2025 season. And I don't know how you get away from that. I mean, it's not an opinion. And I think the best part of this is you can change the FPI as a live data metric, because as you win games, the strength of schedule and strength of component part of it,
yes,
evolve. And when you look at where these numbers are, I mean, obviously strength of record, strength of schedule changes based on how your opponent has done, how your opponent has done before they played you, how your opponent did after you played them, which will impact their strength of record and your strength of record. Like it's a live body. But as I put this back up here, here's what I ask you. What did they get wrong here?
Yeah, because that's the thing that's hard to get away from. I mean, you look at the list and it's like, yeah, actually, I mean, I'm down if we want to debate the merits of, K-State or Tech versus the Clemsons of the world. I'm cool with that. And I think, the FPI and lists like this that are data driven give us a good template to kind of work off of, to have the conversation. But again, I just think that whether we're talking about national sentiment towards the Big 12, the Big 12's willingness to do whatever it takes to win, like whatever it might be with the Big 12, the reality is you're just not winning enough games. And I think that
I agree with that.
That clearly, as you've said today, that manifests itself very clearly in the FPI. It also manifests itself in a variety of other conversations. And this is why I keep saying winning solves all of your problems. Quite literally, right now in today's college football landscape, winning cures literally every single one of your problems as an athletic department. You win more, you make more money.
I agree.
Everything is paid for. Like, you're just in a way better spot. Yet the Big 12 won't. I don't know.
Yeah, and for a guy wearing a salmon-colored Sturgeon shirt, I think that's a really good point.
And this is not to be confused with Oklahoma State colors. I do want to put that out there. That was never part of my decision-making process this morning.
That's much more for Texas State fans.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Okay. So that's how it's going to be.
That is how it's going to be. I don't know if our Texas State contingent is in the comment section today. But listen, it is what it is. Eric Wasikowski, what's up? Good to see you, dude. Stanley Cup drops tonight. Connor McDeasy, let's go.
I want it.
Get it done. Big 12 fans are delusional as dead 12 fans.
Coming from a Michigan fan, that's rich.
Yeah,
dude.
Coming from a Michigan fan, that's rich. And
nice job, bro.
I don't see what's his name's comments. And did he get filtered? Where did his comments go?
No
way did he get filtered.
He did not get filtered on the burner account, dude.
Did he got fucking filtered. Ancho Cornwallis got filtered.
Yes. It is a new low for Ann Arbor.
And I'm not going to go back and view what maybe it's somebody.
How do you get filtered on your burner,
Ferris,
bro?
see, the funny thing is Ferris has multiple burners. Ferris's account got filtered and then banned. And I think it's because he was insulting people with colorful language. But I'm not sure. I shouldn't say that. His burner account got filtered, and now his burner's burner got filtered. Who are you, Kevin Durant? Like, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable. PJ Beck, it's been 20 years since the Big 12 has won a natty. That's a statistical fact. Nothing to argue about. And I think when you look at the Big 12, the recent history of the Big 12 has not been good. And again, I just point to Arizona State going to the college football playoff last year. It's awfully hard to swallow that pill when a first-year in team is representing you in the college football playoff.
Yeah, TCU getting to the national championship game.
Right? And then you
lost 65-7.
Yeah, it was ugly. But then you go back to, who was the second? Well, BYU. Oh, but then Colorado. It's awfully difficult when the new guys on the block are the ones kicking wholesale ass. It's hard to make the argument. Monty Show woke up and chose violence, and I like it. America, boy.
Yeah, hey, boy.
ESPN does not know shiz. Are you Yeti?
Okay, bro.
Okay.
Bro.
Okay.
Who the fuck are you?
We haven't seen you before.
But I like the Yeti reference.
Yeah, I mean, the Yeti reference is good, and it's not trademarked, so nice job.
Good job.
Yeah, nice job there.
Backwoods Mike Smith, Cash looked like a toddler in a high chair for that Fox. And is that a Cash Patel reference?
Why are we talking about Cash, bro?
Have you ever tried to stare him directly in one eye, let alone two? It's not easy to do. Welcome to the nightmare. Just because you don't like the FPI doesn't mean ESPN is biased. You have to win on the field. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Everything that these metrics point to, again, are win on the field. Look at the teams that won big games last year. They're all at the top. So when you win big games and then they put in all kinds of projections about players and then you start running computer sims on outcomes of games, who's really surprised that the best recruiting classes and the best portal classes, Oak State, James, are at the top of this thing?
Yeah. Nobody.
Right. And so I this is why I point to what Welcome to the Nightmare is saying. Win games on the field. You have to win those games. BYU's got to beat Kansas. Prime's got to beat Kansas. And if you win your games, you go to the college football playoff. You lose your games and you're not in the upper 40% of the FPI. That's the crazy part. It's all about winning games. Oh, yes. Boy, here we go. But Bonnie.
Oh, my God. Okay, hold on. This damn well better be a good comment. Because if your account is named But Monty, you have a reputation to live up to, bro.
But Monty, nice beaver.
Yeah, what is that? Is that a beaver in the picture?
I believe that's a beaver.
Okay.
The Big 12 deserves.
Note how we've spelled deserves.
The same amount of respect as the SEC and the Big 12. In the Big 10, rather. Oh, yeah, sure they do. Sure they do.
That's a great
sure
account,
they
dude.
Do. Love you, Eric. Oh, boy. What happened here?
Oh, God. What did Eric say?
Don't start your TDS. Oh, boy. See, the funny thing is we were talking about no tax on tips before the show because the entire breakdown of that came out today. And it turns out you're not.
It turns out you're paying tax on tips.
Are you saying it's more than a knuckle deep? Now it's it's an entire thumb deep.
What?
It turns out there's tax on tips.
Can you measure it?
I know. It's crazy. I know that the IRS
Anita, Dick, and me
would do something.
Excellent strategy, sir.
Oh boy, there he is. Texas State Fanatics.
Oh,
the Big 12 must be better. We play Arizona State this year. Okay. Did or does Ferris work at a post office, kind of going postal a lot? Dude.
See what he did there? That was like post office and postal and like U.S. post office material.
Yeah. Welcome to the nightmare. This week we're averaging 30 minutes into the show that someone gets filtered.
And he will every single time.
Wasn't it Conundrum the other day or somebody got filtered before the show even started?
Was like 30, before the show started, then another guy got banned like 36 minutes in.
It's so good. It is so good. Are You Yeti says thanks, I guess. No, you're welcome, sort of. Backwoods Mike Smith. The Big 12 is no Mountain West Conference, but we're better than that pack. You are probably better than the pack. And listen, I think if you look at this, and I can take a screenshot of the lower tier, bro. There's not a whole lot of goodness happening past like Stanford and Virginia. Everybody else is negative. Oak State is a plus 0.3, which is pretty remarkable. And as I said earlier, like, how about the Louisiana Raging Cajun boy? They're a minus 2.5 there. Oh, but how is Texas State not the top-ranked FPI Sunbelt team? Call Cash Patel and his crooked-ass eyes. We need an investigation.
He's going to look at it every which way.
At the same time, be it. I think it's really tough that like South Florida is ahead of Arizona. You're in the Big 12. You can't be behind a team from the American, let alone two, because Memphis is a plus 0.6, right? You start looking at Northwestern, Houston, Florida Atlantic, Liberty.
Did you say Houston?
Houston.
Oh, I thought you said Houston. I thought you changed the doing what everyone's doing now. It's not Houston, it's Houston.
Should go change your shirt. Fresno State, the Bulldogs. But wait, that can't be right. I must have missed. No, I'm not going to do it. Boise State is a plus 6.2. UNLV with Dan Mullen's groping wife is a plus 5.4.
Groping wife.
Bro, she gets handsy, yo. She gets handsy. But if you look at like Hawaii's a minus 9.1, And that minus 9.1 means you're minus 9.1 points below the average team. You look at just the other teams that are in here. How about and I know that Utah State fan always loses their mind when we tell you how bad they are. You want to know how bad the Mountain West, soon to be Pac-12 juggernaut of Title IX awesomeness Utah State is? They're a minus 10.9 below the average.
It's Division I football.
God damn. And San Diego State, and look, I know we heard from all the San Diego State fans who said we're unfair to San Diego State football and we must not pay attention.
And you know,
JD Dicker, who's the wicker kicker, that I don't watch San Diego State football and I don't know what I'm talking about.
unless they're playing at Wacker Field, which
Right.
is a different thing.
Right.
you
It's
know.
a little rough to say that when San Diego State's a minus 11.8 in the ESPN FPI. Below Charlotte and UAB. below Sam Houston.
Houston.
Come on, man. Like it's
But
rough.
Monty, they're gonna have their memos of understanding all done. Come on.
I'm sure they will. I am sure they will. But I think there needs to be an investigation because somehow Georgia Southern is also ahead of Texas State in the FPI. Because I was told on this show that the Texas State Bobcats were the best team in the entire country.
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
I mean, let alone the Sun Belt.
Right.
Right. They're the greatest team anybody's ever seen. That their 21,000 average home attendance travels like nobody. They travel.
Carry the Pac-12.
They travel
dude.
like
Yeah.
70,000 strong on the road, according to the show in the comments
I
section.
mean, listen,
yesterday.
they're not BYU's fan base, but they'll do.
Wicket is greater than Wicker. I believe it is. Mike Smith, witches do not like the Wicker Man. I don't believe they do. The Wickers of Eastwick. I don't believe they do. The Wicker kicker. I believe he is a kicker. Mullen's wife believes in a helping hand.
Wow. You did not just say Mullen's wife believes in a helping hand.
Do you guys understand?
Bro.
We're bad people. We're bad people.
Bro.
We are not nice people here. It is what it is. Johnny Gonzalez, Dan Mullen's wife can make. Okay. Did I
The
really
bag
touch this
handle.
off? Did I really touch this off with Dan Mullen's wife?
No, but she did.
So with all due respect,
Dan Mullen's wife can make an outfield account because that's all OF can stand for.
Right.
Only
Right.
fans. To make up for the back half of Mullen's contract. Well, because UNLV's broke, according to Mile High Phil. Hello, Phil. Good to see you. ESPN FPI is about as good as its predictions of CU winning 3-4 games last year and Okie Limited winning the Big 12. But the FPI is analytics driven. It's data driven.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a human being making a prediction. So just saying that. Boys, any sneaky information on the Pac-12 Mountain West talks? I wonder how much longer they will take. As long as it takes. As long as it takes. And I am shocked it has not leaked out at this point. Chewy Gonzalez. Why don't ACC and Big 12 just merge already? It makes sense financially and geographically with the pods and divisions.
The pod.
The pod, like when you drop a pod off at your house and you pack your stuff and then
because they're going to move the universities so they're all in a similar area and
Right.
stuff
on
flatbeds
and stuff. IRS does more than just the tip. Yes, they do.
Dude. Yeah.
I just paid a $13,300 IRS bill.
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys
from 2022, and I'm going to have to start stroking guys to make that money back.
juicy.
We may have to go short in a couple cases.
Let me get this right. You sent me a letter in October telling me that I owed you $14,000, or it was $16,000, and I had to respond within 30 days. I did. You said you'd respond in 30 days, and then I finally got a bill the last week of May, and you gave me a $5,000 discount. Okay. Listen, that maths to me.
It all makes sense, dude. Yeah.
The IRS, if Elon did anything right, it was slash about everybody who works at the IRS. But I am amazed. At some point, we're going to have to tell that story. Y'all are going to hell, but at least the company will be good. Listen. Hell's not real.
That's out of the window.
Hell's not real. Go and be an asshole. Go treat people poorly.
Yeah.
Because hell's not real.
How the fuck else would you do this job?
Stop bribing Jesus with your tithing. Hell's not real.
Yeah.
It's fine. Gonna need at least 2 furniture rollers to move Stanford closer to
That's
Coral
what that's what I'm saying.
Hey, buddy, can I get a couple dollies over here? Right? It's ridiculous. Johnny Gonzalez, internal raping system for anyone who has dealt with these people, dude.
Dude, it's so bad.
It really is.
It's terrible.
It is not good. Texas State fanatics. Texas Tech should be considered a legitimate playoff contender, not just a dark horse anymore. Where we've been talking about that. I know you're new to the show and you think we hate everything about Texas, and I know that Texas Tech is not considered one of the 37 best universities in Texas. It's certainly not number one like Texas State. But I think you've got to go and win games. And I think what ESPN's FPI has shown us over the last several years is that when we kick off and you start winning games, the FPI is going to reward you for that. And when you win games against ranked opponents, you're really going to get rewarded for that. And if those ranked opponents then go on to win a lot of their remaining games, then you really, really get rewarded for that, unless you're Ole Miss and you lose to Kentucky and then you get piped, and probably deservedly so. And I don't know how you argue with that.
Yeah.
But Monty says, Texas Tech doesn't travel nearly as well as Texas State. Bro, listen, Texas State fanatics, you're never getting away from we sell merchandise, we travel, and we're one of the 7 biggest universities in Texas. Still, that's going to be that's better than anything Oak State James has ever said on this show.
Wild.
Phil Venzer. Hey, Phil, how you feeling, man? The only thing Texas State fans can do is drink up all of your alcohol. Probably. Aaron Wilson's the GOAT. Yes, he is. There's no doubt about that. Finally, before we get to Lincoln Riley, Jake's favorite football coach, I got to say, if Texas State doesn't take a Pac-12 offer, as they may not get the full share to afford the move, what's their pivot? New Mexico or Tarleton? This has been talked about a lot, and I know Texas State fan gets all pissy when I say this.
Excuse me, uppity.
Uppity, yeah. They get uppity when I say that the 7th best university in Texas. I don't think it's a slam dunk that it makes sense for Texas State to join the Pac-12. Honest to goodness. In all seriousness, financially, does it really math out for Texas State to join the Pac-12?
Would you actually be competitive on the football field to a point where you could make money?
Like you look at GCU joining the Mountain West. Makes perfect sense. Right? You have regional travel partners, like you're not having to fly. It's easy. You're traveling regionally. If you're Texas State, you're not traveling regionally. And it makes it really difficult, I think, when you're a university of that size and scope. And again, what did we say yesterday? Their stadium holds 38,000 fans in a football game.
Yeah.
And you average 21,000 fans a night in football. That's awfully difficult to swallow that kind of bill, to go to the Palouse, to go to, Oregon State and Corvallis. That's awfully difficult to do. To go to Spokane to play basketball, to go to Fresno, it's awfully difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it's why, in my opinion, Texas State really needs to, all kidding aside, you need to thoroughly examine the cost-benefit ratio of joining the Pac-12, because it doesn't offer you a better access to the college football playoff. It simply does not, because you're not going to be one of the best programs in that conference. Certainly not for the next 3 years. I mean, Boise State looks great for the next 3 years. So does UNLV. UNLV, I mean, I don't see how this makes all the sense in the world. If you are Texas State, are you better than Colorado State at football? You're not.
No,
you are not.
Nope.
Are you better than Utah State at football? With Bronco there, I'm going to say you're probably not. And Bronco's got some building to do, obviously. But I don't think Texas State has a clear path in any scenario to the college football playoff. So what is really the point of doing it? Why are you moving? In all honesty, why are you moving to the Pac-12 if you are Texas State?
Yeah, I don't know. And this has been my question. What are they promising you? What's the greener pasture that you're chasing?
How big of a leap is it to go from playing? I mean, if you look at the Sun Belt, you're playing Georgia Southern, like you're playing Georgia State. How big of a leap is it to go play Boise and go play Oregon State and Washington State and go play UNLV? That's a flipping huge jump, dude. Even with a wounded, less talented Oregon State, Washington State. But how many years in a row are we going to see Boise and UNLV playing for the conference championship in the Mountain West?
I'm going to guess.
This year, I would think.
This year.
That's a huge jump. So if you're not winning more games, and if we're being brutally honest, you're probably a couple of wins a year in conference in the Mountain or in the Pac-12 to start. I know you travel unbelievably well, better than any team we've ever seen. How many fans are paying that freight to go watch you on the road when you're not going to win the game? Maybe if it's their hometown, but you can't tell me it's an unequivocal absolutely let's hop on a bus or a train or an airplane. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's what I've been trying to say for how long. Take your emotions out of it and break out a calculator. Be honest with yourself. Tell the truth about the cost to benefit ratio. And I love the line from Dr. Ed Scott, I don't live in a what if scenario. How about today and project for the next 3 years? Actual like A plus B equals this much money in year 3. Because you really think you're getting a full share?
I don't live in a what if scenario.
You really think you're getting a full share if you're Texas State?
No way, dude.
Come on.
No chance.
And if I'm Texas State and I do decide to make that move, I'm not going unless I get a full share, because you need me. You need me because your options, there's no laundry list. And it's what I say to drunk Pac-12 fan all the time. You're not getting UNLV. UNLV signed a grant of rights. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
And if I'm Teresa Gould, I'm calling Ed Scott again. I'm trying to get Memphis would be unbelievable. But again, Memphis is in the very same situation Texas State is.
Yeah, I don't think you could even call Texas or Memphis until you have a TV deal done.
That's what I think.
And you can talk actual tangible numbers that you are working with. And, again, even if you call them knowing they're going to say no, I still think it's worth the call. Still try, because that's the kind of school you need to land. But I would be shocked if that happened.
I want to see. I want transformative football this year. I want the Big 12. Bro, I want Joey McGuire to win the conference this year. I think that would be, do you know how huge it would be to have Texas Tech be the best team in the Big 12? To be playing in big games. Do you understand how much more money the tortilla industry would make in this country? Do you understand? And I know we have a lot of Texas Tech fans that listen to this show. Do you know how passionate? You want to talk about fan base that travels? Go look at the crowd in Laramie 2 years ago. Right? You look at transformative football. I want to see Texas Tech win the whole damn thing. We're going to talk about Lincoln Riley supposedly at some point. I want to see USC win the Big Ten. I think that would be massive for college football. I want to see, listen, in the SEC, I don't even know that it matters. I would love to see the SIP. I would love to see, I hate Texas A&M for no reason at all. I'll be honest, I love Trev Alberts. That's my dude. We used to work together, and I hate Texas A&M. No, nothing good happens there.
Nope.
But I want to see something. I would love to see Lane Train and Ole Miss. I don't hate Alabama and Georgia the way you guys do. I would be thrilled for Kalen DeBoer if they won a championship.
Yeah, I just think that the quotient's different in the SEC. I think that the SEC is so good that, you know, they're going to be there either way. It's just a matter of who it's going to be, you know, and you know, obviously, if you look at the FPI, Texas is looking nice. But, you know, of recent, Texas has looked nice the last probably 3-4 seasons with what Sark's doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just think it's, you know, I think if there was ever a chance for someone to steal an SEC championship, it could potentially be this year, just because Texas, you know, obviously has Arch Manning rolling out, you know, and, you know, you never know who
Yeah, but Arch,
be.
if Texas wins, it's not going to be stealing it. I have a feeling Texas is absolutely
What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that if there was an opportunity for it not to be Texas or Georgia, this would be one of those years, because
Can you
have
imagine
younger quarterbacks.
The only team I don't want to see win it is LSU because of Brian Kelly. I really hope he trips and chips a tooth. But I just am not. I would love to see South Carolina win the SEC. That's not going to happen. I would love to see that. I think, can you guys imagine the storyline of UNLV going to the college football playoff after being the highest ranked G5 champion?
That would be awesome.
And what that would mean for the Mountain West. And that would be unbelievable. Though that's the season that college football needs. Because I think if we just get Texas, Georgia, Bama, and Ohio State, and that's ultimately our Final Four, I think there's going to be an apathetic response to that. I think at some point, and it's as jaded as I was, you might remember that I was only slightly jaded, and I don't think it ever showed up. I don't think it ever came out on the show.
What?
It's not like I was so jaded I showed up wearing a salmon shirt.
Well,
but
someone has to, you know.
It's why Notre Dame was so good for the college football playoff last year. And when you look at, you know, again, when you look at them beating Indiana, or you look at the way Cock on Thigh lost, like that, it's really, anytime Penn State loses a game, it's good for college football.
Facts.
Right? And I just wonder who's Notre Dame this year. And I am very curious to see, are we at 16? Are we like, what is it?
Notre Dame, our mother.
What's the seeding process look like? That's why all that matters. Because I don't necessarily believe the Big Ten cares who it is, or the SEC cares who it is. I think we all care far more about that than they do.
Yeah, all they care about is numbers.
Right? But who is it out of the ACC? Can you imagine if SMU finally wins can you imagine ACC champion SMU in back-to-back years? Jesus, that would be, if Florida State doesn't win that conference, I think we're all going to laugh at them. I think they will, because I think they're going to be really good. But, you know, I think we need that. USC winning the Big Ten would be a childhood dream come true, dude. I think there is, and I know you're a USC fan, Eric, or wait, a Michigan State fan.
Who are you, Oak State, James?
I get confused. Did you guys see the story on Lincoln Riley and USC? I don't even know what I'm supposed to say about this, because frankly, I am stunned by this. I am somehow, some way, I want to understand it. It depends on who you believe at USC, but I can tell you this as somebody that has relationships with a ton of USC fans and boosters. Several USC collectives folded and rolled into one. And the money was not flowing at SC. You hire Lincoln Riley, you pay him 10 years. What did he get? 10 years and $100 million or whatever?
Yeah.
You're paying him an ass load of money. That's a lot of Trojans. And they disappoint. And they disappoint. And they disappoint. And Lincoln Riley got fed up with it. And so by some accounts, Lincoln Riley went in and had a fist pound on the desk. I need more money. I need more money. And apparently some people listened because they turned on the collective faucet in Los Angeles and South Central. And I don't know how much you guys pay attention to recruiting. Who's got the number one class of 2026?
Must be Alabama.
Let me rephrase that. Who has the number one class by a mile in 2026? Georgia? Ohio State? No, it's USC by a mile. Does anybody know who's projected they have no number one class in 2027? It's USC. And why is that? Because USC, and this is the part that should just, if you're a USC fan, this should make your balls ache. They were relying on the brand. Fight on. Hey, it's Los Angeles. Our cheerleaders wear sweaters over puppies.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Right? Like, hey, look at our hot cheerleaders. Look at the stands. You're in Los Angeles. Oh, you want to be an actor? Our film school. Enough said. Sign right here. That was their sales pitch. And it turns out, and I know we're all going to be really surprised by this, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds want that bread.
Okay, now let me...
Kids are out trying to get paid.
Let's make something very clear. While I hope that this is all true. I hope that they are...
I hope this is all true.
I hope that they've, and you're right. On paper, they do have those recruiting classes. That's not in dispute.
2026.
Yeah, that's not in dispute. So all I'm going to say is, and again, let me live up to the brand here. Hey, okay, Lincoln, this is your final excuse, bro. If you're saying you didn't have enough money and that's why you guys were losing games, I partially agree, partially disagree. I agree. You didn't have enough talent to win some of those games. No question about it. You were outclassed. But I will not forget the piss poor tackling technique that was on display. Talent doesn't decide how well you can tackle. Tackling technique and coaching decides how well you can tackle. Now, okay, new DC, new coaching staff. Okay, all right. But all I'm going to say is you start asking for money, and we all know this. This is not unique to Lincoln Riley. You start asking for money and you don't have results, you're done.
The difference is, how much money are you paying the number one tight end in the country? High school kid. He is, not close. They get this number one class because they recruited the number one tight end in the country, Mark Bowman. It's a 5-star tight end, vaulting them right back on top. And this kid is the number 12 recruit in the country, the number 1 tight end, the number 2 recruit in the entire state of California. And they're going to pay him on a sliding scale $8 to $10 million a year. You're paying your tight end the same as your head coach. That means you have a lot of money at USC. And you are starting to see, because I don't think any of us doubt that Lincoln can coach and develop talent. We've seen him do that repeatedly. But what has he always had? Well, he's always had the hammer because he was at Oklahoma scumbags.
Boomer sooner.
He was at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Then he went to SC and he figured out pretty quickly that SC was damaged goods, that SC didn't have a lot of talent, and that boosters didn't want to pay but wanted you to win big. I think this is exactly who USC should be. I think this is exactly what college football has turned into. And when you are now paying your number 1 tight end $8 to $10 million, I agree with you. I think there's unbelievable pressure to win.
Yes.
And it'll be this year and next year where he will have to win. I don't think he can win the Big Ten this year. I think he can win the Big Ten in 2026.
I don't even know that. I mean, obviously, there's expectations to win the Big Ten, of course, but I don't even know that to make a difference if you're Lincoln Riley, that you necessarily have to win the Big Ten conference. Now, that's the goal, but I think all you got to do is be top, be in the CFP. That's what you have to do. Be in the CFP. Because that's what you can say, hey, we didn't win the Big Ten, but look no further than Ryan Day, right?
Yeah.
Like, look no further than Penn State. Like, didn't win the conference, got in the college football playoff.
I think it is really interesting that when I asked a USC booster I know, hey, what are your thoughts on Lincoln Riley? Well, 6 months ago it was, I want him fired. I'll never buy another ticket. You know what the answer was today? Oh, this is the first time it looks like he actually has the talent he needs to win. Like, the boosters actually think they have more talent than they've ever had under Lincoln Riley. And I think it's hard to dispute that. This is easily the most talented roster dude's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good or bad for football that now you have to spend $8 to $10 million on a tight end? I think it's terrible for football.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's really, really bad.
Yeah, it might be terrible, but that's where things are going. And I think that, it's just like pro sports, man. You pay to win. And then when you get to the playoffs, we see the coaching come out. Talent wins regular season games. Coaching wins playoff games. And I think we see that in every sport. And, I think you saw that with Ohio State this past season. I think being able to outcoach the competition and the opposition and understanding what they're trying to do versus what you need to do. I think Ohio State put on a clinic beating Notre Dame secondary. I
still maintain the Big Ten the decks are stacked in the Big Ten, because I look at USC's travel, listen to their road games. Their road games are at Purdue. So you got to go from Los Angeles to Lafayette, Indiana. You're essentially going across the country.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go to Champaign, Illinois, which is not easy to get to. You got to go to Lincoln, Nebraska for Nebraska. And then you have to finish your road schedule at Eugene against Oregon. How many of those road games do they win? Well, they're going to beat the hell out of Purdue because, well, who doesn't? And I would think the Illinois and Nebraska games are going to be absolute pure six brawls, because Illinois is going to be more physical this year than they were last year. And I think Matt Rule has a real squad at Nebraska now. And I'm really curious to see that. But you look at Lincoln's home schedule at SC, it's Missouri State, Georgia Southern 2-0, Purdue 3-0, Michigan State 4-0, at Illinois 4-1. Michigan at the Coliseum 5-1, at Notre Dame 5-2, at Nebraska 5-3, Northwestern 6-3, Iowa 7-3, Oregon 7-4, UCLA I think they're 8-4, which would be a 2-game uptick from 7-6 last year. So
yeah,
do you feel like that's a much better win? And if you look at the 9 games in the conference, I think they're beating UCLA. And I don't know what you guys think here, but I think they're beating UCLA, Iowa, Northwestern, Michigan State, and Purdue. I think they win 6 games in the conference this year, which is a 2-game uptick from last year when they were 4-5. I think they'll be 6-3 in the Big Ten. And I think they'll have a real chance to win that Illinois game, and they'll have a real chance to win that Oregon game on the road. But
I sure hope so, man. College football needs USC to be good.
If he wins 9 games, he will be right in the middle of the hunt in the Big Ten. Now, these are all guesstimates on June 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it really matter? But if he's got talent, look out.
That's what I say. I hope it's true.
Jacob Steinecker, but Monty. No but Monties. It's Hammer Week for the Meat Chicken Wolver Queens. Yes, it is. We'll see. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. Are you Yeti? K-State got a 5-star tight end also. Do they have a 5-star quarterback yet? Do they have a quarterback yet? Lincoln is buying up some of that SC LSU mud dog tackling fuel.
Okay.
He needs that. And the defense is going to be, but they were significantly better last year. Well, there you go. Can USC finally play defense? I think they can. All that money to get smoked by Oregon and Ohio State every other year.
Well,
it's not easy. It is not easy. Numbers don't lie unless it's the federal government giving them to us. Come on, man.
Well,
you ain't wrong. Oh, this one.
This won't kill you. Go ahead and try that.
Hey, this is not going to add to the deficit by more than 4
You're
or 5
not paying
trillion.
tax on tips.
What tariffs are those? Are not tariffs? Are not
the
those
other
are
countries
paid by
pay the
countries.
tariffs, not us.
Okay. Horny James. If SC finishes third in the Big Ten, they can avoid the conference championship game, get their players some rest, and make a playoff run.
Okay, but the real question is, are we going to get clarity on the whole wife divorce story that you told yesterday on the show today?
Yeah, you didn't think we forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way that we were forgetting about that.
So as the sands through the hourglass, these are the days of James Live. James, who is a fan of the horny TCU Frogs.
And Baylor and Kansas City Chiefs.
Correct.
And Texas Tech.
Correct.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
No, Kansas City cheats.
Kansas City cheats, but that's the AFC. The NFC is a Cowboys fan.
I'm sure he's not. So James divulged to us that he's been divorced for 2 years from the ugly wife. I believe he clarified yesterday. He's now married to a hot wife and they've been married for almost 2 years.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, whatever keeps your lollipop licked, right? Like, I mean,
okay,
I'm not here to
take it easy, dude.
I'm not here to.
Yeah, well, Monty, Preston Stone's clean cut was really my inspiration.
Wasn't it? Wasn't? Tell me, James, with all due respect, because we all know you got to get stroked.
Perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip.
Tell me that you did not record all of Preston Stone's snaps at SMU. And tell me that you weren't hoping to play center for Preston Stone. And I'm going to guess you were not going to allow him to be in the shotgun.
Yeah, he was under center, dude.
These are all things that as
look, I know that you and Preston really worked on your guys' hard count together. So, that's really, commendable.
Stop. Johnny Gonzalez. The last James topic of last night's show was a divorce right at the end of the show. Talk about a to be continued Monty show first. Yeah, I mean, James was divorced 2 years ago, and he's been married for 2 years, I believe. And everybody wants to know, how much crossover was there? How did you and the hot wife meet after you and the ugly wife got divorced? Because I believe that's what we decided, because you'll remember James is infamous for saying his wife is not hot.
But what we didn't all know at that time is that was the old wife.
He was divorcing the ugly wife. He hadn't
divulged that. So,
or the unattractive, low maintenance.
Standards don't matter.
Right. The low maintenance wife.
Right.
For the hot trophy wife that he's got now, who is a Texas State fan. So all of this, all of this
about
was
getting the Bobcat.
All of this was coming out because he stopped at the Buc-ee's and all of a sudden he's married. That Buc-ee's in San Marcos must have unbelievable tri-tip, right? And because you just got to try the tip, and that's probably too far.
What?
I feel like
perhaps play a little game called Just a Tip.
Tri-tip. I think that was probably too much. But
so, James, the question is, on the ESPN FPI measurement scale, are you a plus percentage right now, or are you more of a minus in terms of?
No, the real question is not you, James. Is your wife plus or minus on the FPI? That's the only question that needs to be asked and answered.
Yeah. Any thoughts, James?
Travis, can't wait to see Avery Johnson run through the tee at Neyland. Oh, wait. Yeah, Avery Johnson was said to be transferring to Tennessee, and that never happened. So there you go. But Monty, clarity only if it's post-peanut sandwich. Okay. Okay. TDS at 20% DNC approval, LOL. I don't know what TDS means.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I'm not sure what that means. Are you talking about BYU? Let's see. Johnny Gonzalez. I read that one. Johnny also says music was playing and I was like, keep the camera rolling. Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Oh, yes. Okay. Hey, man. What you do in your own time and space is up to you. I don't judge. Jeff Sudbeck, are you they don't want a real discussion, just junior high level humor and a hyperbole? What do you mean?
What are you talking about, bro?
No idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, can you clarify that for us?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Oh,
dude?
I know what he's talking about. He's talking about Prize Picks last night.
Oh, okay.
Because that was very rudimentary.
Oh, man.
If we're being honest, we're never betting on the WNBA again. That did not work out so well for the Monty programs. Last night on Prize Picks, remember Jake told me not to bet Nico Horner mid-game, and I did. That was the only thing that stood between me and a shutout last night, because I would like to say screw the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, nada, zip. I just needed 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, nothing. Gabby Williams, turns out I needed 13.5 points or less. She went for 18.
Damn. I mean, it's been, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's been a pretty rough road here.
Jake's a little frigid right now.
I am Game of Thrones, frozen wall cold.
I am 1 for my last 7 on Prize Picks.
Dude, this is, bro.
PrizePicks.com, America's favorite daily
we got to
fantasy
get in on
app.
the NHL. Okay, how about the Stanley Cup? I haven't done hockey in a while.
McDeasy. You got to go McDeasy.
What are the lines for McDeasy here? Okay.
1.5 points. I really like that. He is a point machine.
What about shots on goal?
Nah, I'm not going to do that because he's not a goal scorer right now.
Yeah,
he has scored goals, but I mean the problem is the shots on goal number of 3.5. He's only done that twice in 5 games, and it's not worth it on a goblin. Is what I'm telling you.
Okay,
I'm going 1.5 points.
Okay, 1.5 points.
And then I think Stuart Skinner. Man, 24.5 shots on goal. Saves, excuse me. 24 goalie saves. I'll do more. And then if we look at I think you have to probably go Seth Jones, D-man for Florida. 23.25 minutes on ice time. Do you go a shot on goal?
Barkov.
Barkov on shots on goal.
Yeah.
He's only done 2.5.
This is
once
Stanley
in his
Cup,
last
though,
5.
dude.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I think.
Well, okay, what about face-offs won with Barkov? Number's
the number's
10.
10.
Yeah, but his last game against Carolina, he had 18.
Yeah, but he's going to wind up going against McDavid.
So go less.
Okay. I'm going to go time on ice. I'm going to go. I'm going to go.
Man, this does not feel like a good lineup right now.
You're self. Sergei Bobrovsky, 25 saves, more or less. I'm going to have to go more.
Okay.
I'm going to go more.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the prize picks for tonight.
No but Monties.
Connor McDavid more than 1.5.
Yes.
Stuart Skinner more than 24.5 saves.
Yes.
And Sergei Bobrovsky more than 25 saves.
See, and I went Barkov less than 10 face-off wins.
Because you're dumb.
I know.
All right, I submitted it. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5, so give you 50 more instantly. And then listen to our audio podcast during the Stanley Cup Finals to hear our picks. See, I mixed them to the audio.
Yeah, you want to listen to the Monty program talk about James's wife while you're watching the Stanley Cup.
A contributor to the show would like you to know that you're stupid.
I'm
for
stupid?
Your Prize Picks. Okay. Barkov is going to lose.
Well, what else is new?
Okay. Nothing for you. Nothing for you. I am on a cold streak. Damian Fowler, if you choose Marty or Jake on Prize Picks, and one is a goblin and one is a demon, which one of you is the goblin and which one's the demon? Well, I'm the demon because pimp's going pimp. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what.
He don't know nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that depends on what context we're putting it into.
I would agree with that.
You know, what are we talking about here?
I don't.
I mean, if we're talking about, you know, ridiculous drops at awkward times, then I'm the demon. If we're talking about roasting James and Texas State fans,
wait. Horny James. I met my wife online.
Dude,
you got a mail order bride.
Now we gotta
you
have
got
clarity,
a mail
bro.
order bride.
We gotta have clarity, dude.
I made sure to date women who like sports.
Okay.
So did she come via FedEx?
Whoa.
And how long did it take you to did you hook up a compressor to inflate her? Like,
and when was this? I mean, did you use?
That's a blow up doll joke, James.
That's fucking interesting, man.
We went to the Texas Bowl together in 2023.
Now, all seriousness, was that your first date or what was?
Yeah, I need to know.
We need more details, dude. So you met online. Was it a dating app or was
the
like...
ink dry on the divorce from the ugly wife before you met the hot one? That's what everybody wants to know. That's what everybody wants to know.
No,
like,
James, you say you met online. Was it a dating app or like what did you do? Are you in Facebook groups? Are you? I mean, when we talk about online, like that can be a little interesting.
This is not like she's real, right? Like she's not like a figment of your imagination.
It's not like your imaginary friend, right?
Yeah, I mean,
listen, we're in a strange time.
You know, you don't dress up in the mirror and say, "Hey, that's my wife."
It's not fucking real.
I mean, you know, I mean, I'm just asking because you met online.
No, seriously though, where did you meet online? Dating app or what's the deal?
Yeah, how did this
come to be?
Whoa, Jake has been doing a great job in 2025. He has stepped up his game in the last 6 months.
Well, okay, did somebody rip me or something?
Yeah, what Jake are you talking about? Because you can't be meaning this Jake.
Yeah, what happened here, dude?
What do you?
What?
You know? Oh, Mapes. Why bring up Manti Te'o's dead girlfriend? Leilani Kakua wasn't.
I personally would like an apology.
That's. I mean,
Leilani.
That's diabolical, but I love it. It is diabolical. No, Mapes. I made sure she was real. No invisible girlfriends here.
Okay, but was it a dating app or what was the situation? Did he comment on that?
You met on Facebook? Now, for sure.
I told you.
For sure, she's a Nigerian banker. And if you send her $2,500, she'll send you $500,000.
No break.
Come on.
Okay.
On Facebook? How did you meet? How do you meet on Facebook?
Did you use
Listen, she was selling a battery collection. And, you know, I had to do what I had to do. Did you meet her? Was she one of those gals that was selling like doilies on Facebook Marketplace?
Did you use Facebook dating, which is a new feature Facebook rolled out?
Wasikowski, very good question. 3 months in, did you pop the question?
Did you meet her on Plenty of Fish extension for Chrome on Facebook?
James, I thought it was Grindr. So did I. Are you Yeti? I met my girlfriend in a Bigfoot chat group. Okay. But Monty, Marketplace, that's what I'm asking. James, please tell me you met her on please tell me you met her on Marketplace.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I am really hoping that she was like selling Extends pills and you were like, oh, I need to go pick those up right
James,
now.
Serious question, dude. When you saw the pictures of your current wife on Facebook
or Tinder,
how much of an upgrade was that for you mentally? Were you like, oh yeah, this is the one?
Yeah.
Or like,
because you're the one who said that your previous wife was unattractive.
Yeah.
He actually didn't say that. James said his current wife was not hot. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
And you're the one who said your ex-wife was not hot. So I'm assuming the trophy wife you met while probably going to her. I'm guessing she had a yard sale on Marketplace and you were like, oh yes, That's the one.
What's up, big bro?
I'm just asking.
I'm legitimately fascinated, though. What was the Facebook process like? Because I know for a fact that Facebook dating is a newer thing as of this year, I believe. Might have been last year.
Wait, what there's actually a Facebook dating
there's a
thing?
segment of Facebook now for dating. Yes. Facebook rolled that out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Look it up. Facebook dating. That's what it's called. Yeah. So you don't have to go on, Gray Hair Central or Plenty of Fish or whatever the hell it's called.
That's something that girls from Milwaukee would use. Like, what are you talking? I'm just throwing this out there. I have been married for 25 years or so and stuff. Are you expecting to find like a high quality chick on Facebook dating? Or much more of an orangutan? Because my guess is the bar is pretty low. If you're on Facebook trolling for chicks, it says something about you and your collection of different ointments for things. Because that's not where you're going. If I was like,
Facebook date. Oh, I was wrong,
single.
Dude. Facebook dating has been out since 2019.
I'm single and I need to meet hot chicks. Where should I go? Oh, hey, why don't you try Facebook dating? No. How about no?
And that's how I look at it.
No, them chicks are thick on Facebook. And you are not going to, you cannot tell me that that's not the biscuit and gravy crowd at like Chuckarama.
He's thick.
He's thick.
He's thick.
That's who's on Facebook dating. The Chuckarama. The Chuckarama crowd who eats extra helpings of biscuits and gravy. Yeah. That's who you're going home with.
What's the first date Buc-ee's, bro?
Dude.
He's thick.
Dude. Stop.
Bro.
Oh, and oh shit.
Bruh.
Look, and now James is justifying my wife has a master's degree from TCU. So you're saying she's not actually hot.
Selectively aggressive.
I mean, she's really well educated. She's got a huge brain.
James, how did you meet on Facebook? Was it a group? Was it the dating service? I want to know, bro.
Call
Seriously.
James on his phone.
I don't think I have his number, dude.
You had his number.
Okay, let me search my contacts. Hold on 1 second.
I knew she was the one on the second date. So after you went to her yard sale on Marketplace, we went to a basketball game at Baylor.
Bro.
And there was a power outage. And we found ourselves under the bleachers together. That's not what he wrote. So we got to talk more. And she's very intelligent and knows a lot about sports. She knew that Dejan Stribling was amongst the best wide receivers in the conference. How did you meet on Facebook?
Yeah, did you? Because what most people do.
Oak State James, if you have Jake's number, call his cell phone right now.
Or I guess you can call on Instagram because you like to DM me constantly.
Or do a video call. You can FaceTime Jake. If you have if you have Jake's cell phone number, Oak State James, because you guys were textually involved. I'm assuming before you found this woman at a Facebook Marketplace sale.
Here I am.
Dude, you should have seen the magnet collection in her garage. It was over right there. Call Jake's phone. We'll put you on the show. I can't call now. I'm charting my work.
Oh, my
ass, this is God's work.
Dude.
This is God's work. Do not cowardice.
So let me guess. You have time
James?
to write the book. You just sent me a picture.
James.
Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Do not be mean.
I haven't seen the picture yet. You have time to send him a picture, but you can't video call him. Don't be a coward. James will be nice. I'm a good listener. This is a safe space.
That's bullshit.
No, it's not.
Stay hard.
This is James. We want you to come on and tell the story.
This is corny stuff.
We want you to share with everybody the greatness of going to Facebook Marketplace and trolling for chicks.
And as you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
That's what I think this is perfectly reasonable. You hiding from the Marty program is kind of disappointing.
It's sort of a natural reflex.
This is a chance for you.
We don't do first time, long times on this show.
No, wait. What the fuck is wrong with your eye?
Bro,
the only one eye
chill.
works. His one eye is.
It's sunny out.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Well,
okay, like you guys are. There you are. James, is your eye working? Okay. Facebook dating saves Facebook dating saves you from Tinder dog filter selfie apocalypse. That could be.
First good comment out of that account.
Let's talk about Lincoln Riley. No, let's not. Let's talk about your marriage. James,
even if you'd like to be.
You do look good there, James. I'll give you credit for that.
James, can I at least get the Anthony Davis picture? The jersey,
I'm not putting Dallas Maverick. No more pictures of James. I want stories. Get on the phone.
Bro, I'm looking through the DMs he sent me. He has sent me a
How many
Chiefs
DMs
jacket.
has this guy sent you?
Oh, like 3 a day, dude. It's almost daily. Yeah. Look at this.
Why is he DMing you?
Because he is. I don't know.
James, what is wrong with you, man?
It's not a problem.
No, not for No, I don't need to see that kind of pornography. No. James, call Jake. VC Jake. 3 minutes. We just want to ask some questions about your beautiful bride.
We want a little bit longer than it usually takes, but we'll get it done.
No, you're usually a minute man, which is fine. But my point is, you have taken a good bit of grief on this show about your horny frogs, and I just want to give you the chance to come on and instill your virtues and talk about how you met your wife on Facebook Marketplace. That's all I'm asking. Does his wife know you're dropping into Jake's DMs? That's an interest. I would like to ask him.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, James, you have to call today.
I can call tomorrow?
No.
Why put God's work off until tomorrow when you can do it today?
I'm just telling you.
Procrastination's not a good habit, James,
John Hamm speaks for every American. Am I the only one wondering what was shot in the James's eye for it to be closed in that picture?
Is that a real question?
Because quite frankly, I was wondering the same thing. Now I guess we'll never know. Because James is being a coward and he won't come on the show and talk about his beautiful bride. Thank you.
We did what we did.
Thank you for the $5 tip. I hope that didn't sting too much in your eye, James. But James, I'm just, you have all this time to chat. You could have been off the phone and preparing for your seminary group or whatever it is.
James, listen, bro, I want to know how you guys actually met, because I want to understand and I'm being serious. I'm not joking. I know older folks use Facebook join.
You just called him old.
Yes, I did. To join dating groups to meet people. So was that what happened?
How old do you think James is?
I don't know. I mean, he's not 20.
What do you think? He's like 50, 60?
Yeah, 50, 60 probably. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay, listen.
I don't need to know his age. I just know that he's middle-aged.
But Monty says no way. He is old. What makes you think he's old, man?
Bro, put the picture back on the screen. With all due respect, James, I'm not being mean. He is a little older. I'm not saying he looks bad, but you're not of age to go on Hinge or Tinder.
Grinder.
Yeah, you're not going out to the bar.
Where do old farts meet each other?
Facebook.
Well, plenty of fish.
Plenty of fish.
Is that what it was? Is there do you know for a fact there's like an extension for Facebook dating?
I don't know if it's an extension.
Well, Grindr's got a
service.
Grindr's got a Facebook plugin.
Yeah, it's Facebook dating was introduced in September of 2019, before the pandemic.
Are You Yeti says 52 ain't that old. Louis Capazzo, 40 to 50.
Yeah.
James, you need to just come on the show and.
By the way, I hope you see what's happening right here with Monty. He's giving you the opportunity to come on the show. Do you understand how few people have ever been on this show?
Have ever been on the show? None.
I'm just saying, it's an opportunity, bro.
Never, ever. Even if they met on Facebook. And now I'm offering you a safe space to talk about, your honest,
you know what you should do?
Heartfelt feelings.
No, you know what you should do?
Safe. All right, let's go. Let's go.
You're talking to him.
No, you are.
No, you are
Put
talking
the phone up to.
You're talking to him.
Okay, so James, you're on the show. You're good with that, right? You know you're on our show live right now.
Yes, and I can't talk. I've got a group to prepare for at 6.
Okay, good. How did you meet your wife on Facebook?
Facebook dating.
It was a Facebook dating thing. So, is that like Tinder, or is it just a normal Facebook dating thing?
Just normal Facebook dating.
Okay, what was her profile picture?
It's been so long, I don't remember.
Okay, how many years ago was it?
We met in December of 2022.
Okay.
What was your first date?
Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Solid choice. Actually, that's a really solid choice.
Pasta Vajul. What was had at Olive Garden?
Fettuccine Alfredo.
Okay. Okay. See, I have
choice.
I have love for that. Okay, so was there a crossing of the streams divorce-wise? Were you like final in your other marriage?
Yeah, that was. My wife never moved down to Texas with me, so we were separated for several months.
Oh, okay. Okay. How were you heartbroken over your divorce?
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Were you heartbroken over your divorce?
No.
So you were done with it. Okay. Everybody's.
When I went to get my stuff, I stopped at the Walmart where she works at, and conveniently her ex was there. And the fact that she got him a job there just is proof to me that was cheating on me. So
is that how you found out?
Yes.
That's how you found out. Oh, James, that's terrible. That's brutal. Okay, so you met your wife on Facebook Marketplace after your other wife refused to move to Texas and cheated on you with her ex at Walmart.
Susanna is amazing. She's intelligent. She loves sports. She doesn't even mind if I'm at home and I'm listening to the Monty Show. So.
Oh, okay. By the way, real quick, James, is there any honor in you being the first listener on the show?
Job covering sports. I love listening to you when I chart, but I've got a 6 o'clock group I need to prepare for. Okay.
Wow. We were just honoring you as the first listener on our show, James.
Congrats,
okay.
James.
And seriously, Jake, you've really stepped up your game in the last couple months. Whoever it was that texted in and said you're stupid, they have no clue what they're talking about.
I appreciate that, James. Thank you, bro. I credit all my success to my shirt selections in the morning. So thank you. Have a nice night, James.
Okay, first of all, has anybody ever been less enthusiastic during a phone call?
Well, okay, so we need to talk about this. So first of all, credit to James.
He called in the show.
Credit. Give the guy credit. And I'm being 100% sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Good job calling into the show. Now, we need to talk about that I don't know who called me stupid and quote texted in. I don't know who your buddy was. Whatever. I'm not great at prize picks. I don't run from that.
And we all are stupid. I cannot tell you how many times.
So credit to James. I can't imagine. You know what's interesting? I can't imagine. So it sounds like she was a manager at Walmart. That's what it sounds like. Because he said that she got him that job. His ex was a manager at Walmart.
Ooh.
That's rough. But what are the comments saying? What are people saying about this?
That sucks.
Yeah, that's really rough.
That's
dude.
how you found out?
Yeah, that's rough, bro.
Ooh. Yeah, James, that's tough. Did he just say he loves listening to when he sharts? I believe he did. No, but Monty corrects and says charts.
Charts.
Okay.
Quick spelling error there.
His wife sounds like the 7th best woman in Texas.
Jesus.
Texas State is never going to get away from that comment. I bet you cannot name 6 other Texas women. I probably cannot.
Okay, quick question in the comment section. How did we feel about the phone call? Because that's the first time
it was a little less enthusiasm than I would
thought he would have been more excited to be on the show.
I would have thought so.
But again, it's always, I'll be totally transparent.
I have to go.
I'm totally transparent.
I have to go.
You never really know what people are going to be like when they call in, because like they're almost never the same person on the phone that they are in the
keyboard
comment
warriors.
section.
Oh, keyboard warriors.
So then I'm not saying James has been a total keyboard warrior, but like I'm just saying I thought you would have been more excited or more energetic about it. But I appreciate you calling.
Yeah, I do too. Eric Wasikowski, Monty should have a listener hump day. Maybe. James was busy. Haha, give him some slack. Yeah, you're right. He's too busy for the Marty show. He's big time. I get it. We're small fries over here, man. You know, he had fettuccine Alfredo at Olive Garden on his first date. Amazing first date. Amazing first date. I call him stupid all the time. Royster JP calls Jake stupid all the time.
You know, and I appreciate your consistency, you know.
You know, welcome to the nightmare. James still has a soft spot for Jakey Two Shakes. That's very key. Do you think he crushes on you? Are you flattered?
I'm not going to speak on Buddy's infatuation with my shirts.
Okay. He does send you DMs every day.
Yeah.
You know, James is a good dude. The best dude.
Yeah.
Easy. It's easier for me to respond here. I type 75 words a minute.
James, were you nervous calling in?
Bro, it is not easier to type anything than say anything. Put in an AirPod and have the conversation. Right? I wasn't mean. But Monty, that was a great interview, James. Well done. James rocks. James almost gave Monty we're not talking about that. We're focused on Cincinnati.
We're really focused on Philadelphia right now.
Dude, James, that would have been iconic for the record.
I'm focused on charting right now.
If you would have called in and gone full hoodie mode on it, that would have been incredible.
I think the Walmart cheating story is the win in that.
Dude, this is incredible because I had no idea that that's how that went down.
To find out that your wife is cheating on you with her ex because you went to pick up your shit before you moved to Texas,
bro,
and her ex was there
because he got hired by her is crazy.
That would not be good. James, you are a rock star, bro. Yeah, it's fun. Was she a Walmart wife?
What does that mean?
She worked at Walmart. History made it was iconic. See, James, you are a character on the show. He was on the spot. It was awesomeness. My wife is the best Texas woman. I've heard that. You are everybody's wife who lives in Texas is the best Texas wife. If it's a Walmart, they were definitely crossing streams in the back room.
Damn.
Truth. I think him being busy threw a wrench, honestly. John Ham, wait, James had a manager at Walmart cheat on him. Now I just feel bad for you, James. I will not make fun of you again. Man, that had to hurt. That sucks.
It's brutal, bro.
Wait, did we just disparage Walmart managers? That's got to be one of the most difficult jobs on the planet. Seriously, should do that more often. That was great.
Hey, listen, but again, see, here's the deal though. This is what you guys need to understand. It's all situational.
It is.
We are not just going to put on rando to tell us what they think about the color of the sky.
No.
There's got to be a reason. And in this case is full, right? There is a lot to unpack here. And I think that James in his dating life is absolutely outstanding. You know, I mean, I think that the Walmart angle, the fact that he's a fan of like 8 teams, you know, you're probably only a fan of like 8 teams because of your wife's situation, honestly, right? I mean, that's got to be playing some role in it. But you're out of your mind if you think I believe that you couldn't talk more because you had to chart.
No, I don't buy that.
I don't buy that. Now, and I'm good with it. I'm not criticizing you, but what I'm saying is that I'm trying to think of the last person who had an opportunity on the show like that, and I'm struggling to think of who that would have been.
I can't think of one.
I mean,
maybe when we used to do live remotes.
Yeah, but that's different. See, that's in person. People can come up and see us and like
actually
call into the show. Like
And the best part is in Jake's phone, James's number is in Jake's phone.
Yeah.
And it says James from Stoolwater. That's the caller ID. So you guys are saved in each other's phone, which is remarkable. You know, he sounded more normal than I was expecting. And that's from Okie Light. A solid combo. James says I'm in panic mode. I still don't have a lesson ready for 6 p.m.
Okay, what class are you doing? Is this like Bible study or something, or what are you doing?
I would guess, you know. Nothing keyboard about me. I'm all clay. There you go. James, Chat GPT can help you with that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Says one teacher to another.
Yeah. Jeremiah, as a teacher, how much do you use Chat GPT?
You would have to use it a lot. John Hamm, James, can you type 75 words a minute with one hand when you are on dating apps? There you go. There, see what he did there?
Do you employ Chat GPT to message people on dating apps?
You know, don't you have to? I don't take it personal. It made for a good life. What do you mean?
What
did you used to work at Walmart? I didn't know that. Chris Faithful. James said his wife was a Heisman candidate and she turned around and cheated on him. Seriously. You know, I had 15 people in my 4 p.m. group. Okay. RJ Man Loner Phone. Big Daddy Magic. No. Don't even put that in the ethos. You know, I lost the pool. I had Tanner for the first caller. Tanner doesn't come on the show anymore. Tanner's kind of disappeared into the greatness, you know. Just wing the class. You got this. Yeah. Open up the Bible and start talking about that time. You know, Mark and Jimmy were hanging out and JC showed up and talked about the house and, you know, plenty of room in there and stuff. Johnny Gonzalez, James, crunch time here. You got like 15 minutes, dude. Well, I think it was interesting. That that was fun. Having James on talking about any dude that gets cheated on by a Walmart manager. I agree.
Maybe what we should do on the show is the ability to call into the show is one through like the best take of the week or something. Like one call a week.
And you guys are welcome to DM Jake videos.
And you could definitely do videos. Yeah, we can do that all day long.
Big Daddy Magic sends me videos every day.
Yeah.
Multiple videos every day. I don't know. We can work on that. Look at that. Greg Hawkins.
Dude,
Greg Hawkins.
Bro, where have you been, my guy?
Let's go. He says the Cubs Cubs game's on now. Jake doesn't let me watch Cubs games during the show. Even though I am now a double season ticket holder at Wrigley Field. At Wrigley Field, I have 2 in the bleachers. And in spring training, I have 4 behind the plate. Not allowed to watch the Cubs game during the show. It's an amazing tool to help create lesson plans, tests, exams, etc. I had it help me create a lesson plan to teach cursive. Wow.
Wow, nice, dude.
Yeah. Capazzo, I miss the Super Soaker, don't we all? Guys. Hey, guys. The Tanner voice will always be in our hearts. Yes, it will.
Goated.
Tanner's amazing.
Absolutely goated.
I'm a believer in teaching kids to use technology as a tool, not as a crutch. Thank you very much. That's amazing. I think today we should sit here and pray for the whole hour and see what happens. Well, you let us know how that goes. Let us know how the conversation with JC and his dad goes. We're going to keep doing the show, okay? You know. The guys. Hey, guys. Tanner drop reminds me of Pesci in the Lethal Weapon movies. I miss Tanner. Loner phone. Sexy Mike Smith would have a soundbite or two. He would. Y'all should do a mini show segment where y'all react to videos on YouTube. I had brought that up, but some of us don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it.
Well, I don't have time. You have time. Whatever. Fat Jesus, you're welcome to join me on my show. Isn't that what was the old 700 Club? Was that the old Tammy Faye Baker show? The 700 Club? Before your time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Honestly, I had to root for a California team. It would be UCLA. Pasadena's much nicer than USC. Okay. Jake would do it if you reacted to golfers' packages. He would.
Yeah.
He would. He's very excited that boy, did we have it? Yes, I know. Greg Hawkins in the building. Which OG is showing up next? Growcock? I wish.
Hiscock.
I wish. Growcock was amazing. Anyway, all right, let's reset the show. The Monty Show presented by our good friends at The Advocates. TheAdvocates.com. You guys, I tell you this all the time. If you get in an accident using ChatGPT while you're driving, you probably are at fault, so don't call The Advocates. But if you get hit by a distracted driver, you cannot count on your insurance company because they're not going to fight for you. You need somebody who knows how to handle the claims process. That's The Advocates. They've done it thousands and thousands of times. They have the experience you need. Get to theadvocates.com and get clear risk-free advice today, right now, and it doesn't cost you a dime. You can chat with an injury attorney live online at theadvocates.com. Did you get hurt at work? Motorcycle accident? Did you have a slip and fall? Whatever that might be, absolutely make sure that you get to theadvocates.com. Stop sending me. Certain listeners have my phone number. Stop sending me text messages.
There is such a thing as a comment section.
I ain't doing it at theadvocates.com. Here's a question that I have. And I think it is very interesting that Alabama's got a lot of expectations. Did you guys see this Ryan Williams video? The Alabama wide receiver. This might be potentially one of the best one-liners I have ever heard from a college football player.
You guys against Vanderbilt.
Man, they played a better football game than us this game. We came out slow, and they capitalized. They held the ball. They had their game plan, and they executed.
What do you say to your team when you got Vanderbilt this year coming into Tuscaloosa?
Man, going into this game, it's we don't call them revenge games. So we gonna kill an ant with a sledgehammer this year. So I mean, just every game that we fell short last year, we definitely got red eyes going into them.
Dude,
we're gonna kill an ant with a sledgehammer. That is amazing. That is amazing. Too much? Not enough?
I mean, I appreciate the mentality, certainly. I mean, I think that it's unacceptable to be losing to them if you're Alabama.
Yes, it is.
And I think that, Ryan Williams is a guy that it's his turn now. He's up. He's their guy now.
Arguably the best player on the football team.
So to me, it's like, yeah, the best player on your team, or arguably the best player on your team, certainly one of the best players on your team. Sitting with John Gruden, you're damn right he should be saying stuff like that. And it is a sledgehammer playing an ant, with all due respect to them. And I think that, the bottom of the SEC, can make their best effort, but teams like Alabama should dominate anybody at the bottom of the SEC. And I think that Ryan Williams needs to have the biggest season of his career. Like, if you take his entire career, high school,
Ty
whatever,
Simpson needs to have the best year of his career. I mean, because Ryan Williams isn't anything if he doesn't have a quarterback to get him the football.
Yeah.
But he is, I think that Ryan Williams as a sophomore could be the best receiver in the country. Because what we saw out of Ryan Williams last year was nothing short of sensational. But this doesn't sit with me wrong or oddly or uncomfortably at all. I love it because it tells me that they're about handling business this year and proving a point. And I think that's what it has to be. And when you look at the guys that they have, Isaiah Horton coming in, you look at their transfer portal, you look at the returners that are on that offensive line, and you start to say to yourself, like, is this a year that Jam Miller becomes the best running back in the SEC? Is this a year where, because is Ty Simpson that guy at Alabama? How good can Alabama be? Like, I don't have to wonder about Ryan Williams because he was arguably the best receiver in the country last year. And I think he is going to make a serious run either this year or next year at the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that Alabama's going to be much better this year. I'm also a huge Kalen DeBoer fan. I believe in the guy. And I think this is going to be a hell of a test for them to see what they turn into.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting. Mike Smith says the 700 Club was Pat Robertson. How could I ever get them confused? Johnny Gonzalez, the Rose Bowl is in Pasadena, and James roots for stadiums more than he roots for the teams that play there. He really does. He really does. I just, but it is what it is. Speaking of dudes not seen in a while, where's the mayor of the Monty Show been? He's a morning guy. He was on the show every morning. We flip back to afternoons, and it doesn't work with his schedule. Are You Yeti says, go Vandy. Vanderbilt wins by 20, according to Wasikowski. Chewy says, Candy Vandy wins by a field goal. Could you imagine if they lose that game? You can't tell me Vandy's beaten Bama twice in 1 year. That's not happening. That would be, which is different than a season, but twice in a cycle. That's not happening. Honestly, do you think that the improvement that Vandy has made to their stadium, James, until Diego Pavia isn't wearing a Vandy jersey, Ryan Williams is just making bulletin board material at this point. But if Vanderbilt beats you because of bulletin board material, are you really the Alabama Crimson Tide?
No. Nope.
I would say you're not. Mike Smith, as a member of the SEC, Vandy already gets enough money to compete. Not sure if they have a higher academic requirement, though. A much higher one. Much higher one. Remember when Michigan called MSU little brother under D'Antonio? Didn't work out well. Hey, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen. There have been... It'll be interesting to see what happens with Michigan. Because Michigan will have opportunity. I just think they're going to get cracked. How many games is a head coach going to miss? And if he misses half the season and you don't win games because of it, how many people are you going to lose in the portal?
A good bit. Good bit.
This, whatever happens in the next week or two with the Committee on Infractions is going to paint a big picture.
Yeah.
I am loaner phone. I got a problem. Oh boy. Bought some pistachio nut, sea salt, and pepper, and I am addicted. Now every time I take a number 2, it's screaming meanies.
Well, you shouldn't be putting pistachios up your butthole, dude.
That was Zyn Pack.
Yeah, Zyn Packs, not pistachios, salt and pepper version.
I'm not going to say what I was thinking. Hey, look at that. But Monty, the newest member of the Monty.
But Monty.
There you go, But Monty. Royster JP, Vanderbilt is the 6th best team in Texas. I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. They're not better than Texas State, but, Okie Light, they're not Saban's Bama. It's a good line, though. Could they be better than Saban's Bama? They've got all the money in the world. I know they have a small little stadium to play in. They've got an unbelievable stadium, unbelievable financing.
They have everything they need except for the fact that it's not Nick Saban and except for the fact that Kalen DeBoer is not the same as Nick Saban, with all due respect to him. And it's no slight to him. It just is what it is.
Gabriel, I'm curious. I'm so curious who might draft Ryan Williams when he's eligible. Everybody. He's a stud. He has got, it's that old saying, he's got what you can't teach. Look at that. Cubs get a leadoff single.
Nice.
Ian Happ. He's got that thing you can't teach. And there are just some dudes who the DNA makes them do certain crazy things, and he's one of them. He is one of them. Does Michigan have any defensive players left from the previous DC? Because they lost a lot in the last couple of drafts. I think they have 2 remaining. Who gets drafted first, Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams? Well, Jeremiah Smith is he a year ahead, or are they the same year? I'd have to look. I think that they're very close.
At the pro level, I think they're just 2 very different receivers. They're both excellent.
Now they're both sophomores. They're both excellent.
I think Jeremiah Smith can beat you in a number of ways. I think that, his strength, his speed, his intelligence, I think as an overall wide receiver, he is probably more skilled than Ryan Williams is. The problem with that is that Ryan Williams is one of the freakiest athletes we have in college football right now. And it's not just speed to burn. It's the ability to go up and get a ball, the ability to get after the 50-50 ball. Like they're two different players from a skill set standpoint, but they're both damn near impossible to stop. And that's what I think, to your point, comes down to who's throwing the football.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that but this is what I say about Notre Dame as well. Like, I mean, what do you wonder about if you look at Michigan? Well, you wonder, does Michigan still have the power in the middle of the formation? Do they win on the defensive line? Well, we'll find out. I have no idea what CJ Carr is as a quarterback at Notre Dame because he's a redshirt freshman. We have no idea. You have no idea if a guy like Jordan Faison will actually stay healthy and be a legitimate wide receiver, or is Jaden Greathouse anything more than a one combo wide receiver? Like there are so many questions about teams like that. I don't wonder about their defense. I do not, because Marcus Freeman has a defense and a special teams that can compete with anybody. And it's what I always say. Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And how is that possible? Right. But if I look up and down at, Utah, let's say, right? What is Utah's identity? Their defense.
Yes.
You know that defense is going to be unbelievable, but they've also got, in my opinion, Spencer Fano is one of the best right tackles in the country. They've got a really good offensive line. But what does Devin Dampier turn into? What does Devin Dampier turn into? What about Wayshawn Parker? What does he turn into? Do you have 30 offensive players who can compete at any level? Because that's really what it's going to take. So when I look at Alabama, and to bring this full circle to Ryan Williams, when I look at Alabama up and down, I have no question that Alabama's got 50 players. They have depth. Their wide receiver depth alone. And if you look at Isaiah Horton, and I know that a lot of people will tell you that, hey, he's a transfer. Like, I don't care if he's a transfer. I seriously don't care. Isaiah Horton's a guy. And it almost does not matter to me when you look at his season in Miami last year. He's going to be a better wide receiver at Alabama than he was at Miami. Right. But again, if I look at a guy like Ty Simpson doesn't have any measurable stats. We have no idea what he's going to be. So now we're talking about multiple. Michigan doesn't have a quarterback. Who have we talked about here? Michigan doesn't have a quarterback. Julian Sayin, is that a quarterback at Ohio State? We're going to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame doesn't have a quarterback. Bama doesn't have a quarterback. Like, how are you relying on unproven performers to be starting quarterbacks on major clubs? It's a little scary. It is a little scary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think, but at Utah, and this is why I have such high hopes for Utah, you've got one of the best right tackles, if not the in the country. You've got one of the best offensive lines in the country. You've got one of the best defenses in the country. Can Devin Dampier's game translate to Big 12 football? We're going to find out. We're going to find out, because that's what matters, right? That's almost all that matters. Yeah. John Hamm, the newest member of the Monty Show. Well done. Appreciate that. I have midweek service at 6. Have a great night. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yes.
See you tomorrow, James.
See you tomorrow, James. Ian Happ on my fantasy team. Let's go. Yep. Ian Happ is standing on third base right now. And you have one out, and the bases are jam-packed full of Chicago Cubs. And we'll find out if Dansby Swanson's worth all the money they're paying him. So, can we talk Paul Skeens? He needs to be a Yankee. He doesn't need to be a Yankee. Paul Skeens is going to be a Dodger.
No, the Pirates need to spend money on their offense.
Not going to happen. That's the worst owner in all of professional baseball. They are going to trade Paul Skeens because it makes financial sense to trade him. You're not going to make him the highest paid pitcher in baseball to lose.
Yeah.
They're going to trade him, and I think it's going to be to the Dodgers. The Dodgers need an icon. Clayton Kershaw's done. I saw what I saw last night. Clayton Kershaw's done. You need an icon there.
Yeah.
And Shohei Ohtani cannot be an icon of a pitcher. His arm just won't hold up. We've seen that repeatedly. So he is on the verge of having his third Tommy John surgery, because it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. They will extend him for 675 years.
Yeah.
Into the future. They'll defer his contract.
Yeah, they're going to defer his contract and add to their, deferred debt 20 years down the line.
Notre Dame has shut down the other team and run the ball. Pretty much. That got us to a national championship last year. The Sox need to move anybody for Skeens. He can't be a nasty Yankee. Well, the Chicago White Sox won't do anything. So I have no doubt until the owner's dead. Utah has second best O-line in the country. Facts. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, it's all on paper.
They are phenomenal. Underwood wins QB1 before week 0, but that's great. I have no doubt that Underwood will be the starting quarterback. Is he capable of leading a team with those kind of expectations in that conference, coming off of what is, by any measure, a really mediocre season? That's the question I have.
Yeah.
For a guy that's unproven and already has seen transfer rumors, true or not, and Dansby Swanson strikes out. How many fly balls can one shortstop hit? Good Lord. Utah is going to have a special season this year. Dampier will be the difference maker. Got to prove it. Doing it in New Mexico is different than doing it in Utah. I can tell you that. Anybody do video editing? I have a bit of a favor, and I'm willing to pay for services. Such as in Nico Horner now, 2 outs, bases loaded, no score in Washington.
DM me, Jeremiah.
Does Nico Horner come through? One of the best contact hitters in baseball.
Talk about a hack.
He did.
Bro.
He did. I just wish the Rockies could be good, dude.
Yeah,
they might be the worst team in the history of baseball.
Yeah, you're going to be wishing for a while.
Might be the worst team in the history of baseball. Anyway, let's switch gears, talk about the Phoenix Suns, because Jake is livid over this. Why are you so upset about this? And the Cubs will not score in the first inning.
Why do I not put the Cubs on the TV, dude? Can I just,
Anyway, the Phoenix Suns today hired a new coach that you've never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the Phoenicians known as the Suns, why are you so upset about this? What is it that has you pining for Frank Vogel?
I mean, I don't even know that I'm pining for Frank as much as I just think that you took a huge risk here. I understand the Wave as young head coach who started as a video coordinator and worked his way up. That's what...
he's already got a parody account on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody's about, right? I mean, that's what the hot wave in the NBA is. But here's my problem. I don't believe that the Suns are in a position to be taking risks. I think that you're playing with fire here with Devin Booker, dude. I understand all this reporting about how Book was intimately
heavily involved in the coaching selection.
Yeah, he's all good with it.
And this was his choice.
Cool. He'll be all good with it until we're 30 games in and they're not on pace to make the playoffs, because that's what this is going to be. You know that this guy, I'm not saying he sucks. What I'm saying is that he's inexperienced by head coaching standards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has experience in the league. Yes, he did some good things in Atlanta. I don't doubt any of that. But what I'm telling you is this is a team that just spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this former roster that they're now looking to break up and, do deals with and rebuild. You spent hundreds of millions of dollars and you weren't good. It wasn't good enough. And now your answer is to trade KD to get your draft capital back, obviously move on from Brad Beal, and then sell Devin Booker a bill of goods that you're going to hire a young and upstart head coach. And that's what's going to get you to the promised land. That's what I'm supposed to sit here and be like, yeah, dude, gosh, Book is going to be just fine. We're still not going to have any more nights where it's point Book, right? They're going to go out and find a point guard. We're not going to have to revert back to that mode in his career, right? Like the Suns are going to be able to at least be, a 7 seed, an 8 seed, right? They're not going to be a lot or a play-in team, right? Or is it more likely that this guy is inexperienced, is going to have to learn some lessons on the job. You're going to have to prove that your front office knows what the hell they're doing in the draft, because I think Phoenix has had, inconsistencies in the draft. They've had a few that have hit for sure, but they've had a lot that haven't. So my point is that I'm not interested in Frank Vogel coaching this team or any other, just veteran coach. What I want is someone who's proven and someone who knows how to coach big personalities, knows how to coach stars in this league, because that's what Book is. And I just don't think that Jordan Ott is that guy. I don't think that he has any way to say that he's that guy. Being an assistant and being the backup plan for your head coach is very different than being the guy. And that's what my concern is, because I've been around this block, right? I lived in Phoenix. I watched you be bad with Bledsoe on your team and Book on the team. I remember all those awful Suns players, man. So all I'm saying is, this better not be step one in we're going to be bad for 5 years and waste Devin Booker's career, because that's kind of what I see this being so far.
I think that Kevin Durant's got a ton left. I think it's a big mistake if you're going to write one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA off. And listen, I hope Kevin Durant goes to the Knicks, because I think Brunson and Durant with OG Anunoby and a mix of guys. And if Mikal Bridges is in that mix, that's great. Karl Anthony Towns can't be there with Kevin Durant. It is not going to work. And I think Kevin Durant, I love the guy. I'm a huge KD fan. He's got to win more rings.
Yeah.
Because he should be one of the greatest players ever on paper. Now, is he one of the greatest players ever? I have no doubt. But what is keeping him from being Kobe, and what is keeping him from being KD or being LeBron? Well, he hasn't won enough.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing about Devin Booker. And you guys, I think, know this. I'm much more of a player fan than a team fan. I'd love to see Devin Booker end up with the Lakers. I'd love to see Kevin Durant end up with the Knicks. That's where, in my opinion, they belong. Kevin Durant is a New York guy, in my opinion. He performs on big stages. He doesn't care about the media. He wants to perform at Madison Square Garden. He loves it. He relishes it. I think he wants the moment. I want to see Kevin Durant hoist that NBA championship trophy again. I almost need to see that for the NBA. I think Kevin Durant winning a championship and being one of the guys on that team that brings back the title to New York, that brings it back to the Garden. Can you imagine that legacy? Please don't go to Houston. Please don't go to Miami, because you're not winning there. You're not winning.
You go to Miami, you're trying to be LeBron James. You go to Houston, you're irrelevant.
I don't even think it's that he's trying to be LeBron James. You know what I think? I think it's not befitting of a legend like Kevin Durant to go to an also-ran NBA market. You're a guy who wound up in Golden State and cashed in Golden State, and we have not been able to see him healthy since then. Brooklyn was an abject failure. It was injuries. It was controversies. We need Kevin Durant in a Knicks uniform. No excuses.
What we need
hoisting banners.
To that end, we need Kevin Durant to be the reason you won the championship. The Kevin Durant haters say that he went to Golden State and he only won that because of the cast around him. He was not the main. Now, and I get it. I'm not saying that that's the truth. But we're not talking about what the truth is. We're talking about perception. The perception is you have a ring on the back of Steph Curry. That's the perception. Now, I know, and people who watch the league know, that Kevin Durant damn near killed Bron in that series multiple times. So I don't have any doubt that the guy earned his ring. But what I'm telling you is that I would agree, when you're talking about all-time greatness, Kevin Durant, and he's my guy and has been my guy for like a decade, is clearly a cut below Steph, Kobe, Bron in terms of winning. And the thing is, Steph has done it before and after you. Obviously your other teammates haven't done a ton of winning, right? If you think about like James Harden, you think about like Kyrie hasn't won since after Cleveland. You have an opportunity here to go to the Knicks, be the reason they win a championship, and ride off into the sunset. If you have to, at least then we can tell a story about how you were played for multiple franchises.
I think when you look at Kevin Durant, and if we tell the story of Kevin Durant doesn't have 1 year left. And I hate the people who are like, oh, Kevin Durant's done. No, he's not. What did he show us in Phoenix? He could still play. Right. And if we look at his legacy, he's got 2 championship rings. He's got 2 NBA finals MVPs. He's got an NBA MVP. And now the problem is that was 11 years ago. Right. Kevin Durant he doesn't even need to be that guy. Kevin Durant doesn't need to be that guy, but he needs to be one of the guys. And if you put him with, I think it's a really solid core. If you swap out Cat for Kevin Durant, that team beats Indiana. I have no doubt about that. And is Kevin Durant a guy that is on the right side of 30? No, he's on the wrong side of 35, frankly. But he also is a hard worker. The guy is a basketball player. The guy is still as good a scorer as there is in the NBA.
Yeah, and most importantly, I think he's still motivated.
But he needs to win. He needs to win. And he's done everything that you could possibly want to do. World Cup world champion, Olympic gold medals 4-time over. Like the guy is he's everything that you want. Now we got to start writing a better legacy in the NBA. And if I am Kevin Durant, and I'm not, and Kevin Durant sure as hell doesn't listen to this show, but if I am Kevin Durant, I am begging you, please go sign with the Knicks as long as Karl Anthony Towns is not there.
Yeah.
Please go get a trade done with the New York Knicks and win a championship.
Yeah.
I want it. I need it.
The NBA needs it, bro.
I am desperate to see Kevin Durant win again. I don't know if I had favorite players in this league. I have no idea who that would even be. Kevin Durant's going to be in that group. And when he's healthy and he is showing us what he showed us in Phoenix at times, he is still an elite scorer. He is still one of the best players in the world. And if you want to, who would you take him? Yes, I would take him over Luka. No, I would not take him over LeBron right now, but I don't need him to be LeBron. I need him to be Kevin Durant because singularly or as part of a group, Kevin Durant's good enough to win a ring. But you can't have the wreck that was the salary cap and roster in Phoenix.
And again, what am I going to say? If you're the Knicks, don't be an idiot about who you hire. Because all the smoke is that you're looking internally and you're looking at anybody but the obvious hire here.
Which Michael means Malone. They're talking to Michael Malone.
Yeah, I don't buy that. In my opinion, I think that the Knicks are very good at messing it up. And I don't have faith that they're going to hire him.
I think that used to be the case. I think Leon Rose has barely put a foot wrong here. Not trading for Donovan Mitchell was a mistake. Not paying the price and then paying the price down the road for other guys was a mistake. Don't make that mistake with Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
Do what's got to be done and go get Kevin Durant because that's the right guy. You need to have Karl Anthony Towns off that roster. That money is not compatible. Not for who he is as a player. Kevin Durant is that dude. You can put any sweater on that guy's chest and he is going to ball out. You do that with a Knick uniform at the Garden, forget it. It's over. It is, and it's probably too obvious, which is likely why it won't happen.
Yeah.
I have no interest. I'll be honest with you. I have no interest in seeing Kevin Durant in a Heat uniform. Not that, again, who am I to tell Kevin Durant?
Why do you not like the Heat for him?
Because there's not a culture there. They don't win. You have a guy in Pat Riley who wants to argue over people's cookies on flights. You want to be petulant with Jimmy Butler. You didn't know how to handle Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, maybe that's why KD won't go there.
And I'll be honest with you, Kevin Durant can't go through a rebuild.
No.
He's 36 years old. When you're in New York and Jalen Brunson's on your left and OG Anunoby's on your right in the corner and you're on the wing and you have a host of players, that's a pretty solid offense and a pretty solid defense. Now, what are you going to have to, if Karl Anthony Towns, and again, I don't know exactly, and I should have looked at this before I started running my mouth. But when I look at, like, what did we say yesterday on the show? Karl Anthony Towns, his salary number is ridiculous. He is owed 110, 160, $171 million in the next 3 years. $171 million in the next 3 years.
Do you know what that's like these days?
Do you know how difficult it is to trade that? Do you know how hard it is to trade that money?
Yeah, well, Ishby has shown it's clearly possible.
He has. And so if I look at Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant is on a deal that he is owed $54.7 million next year. How do you lose in that scenario? How do you lose in that scenario? He's a one-year guy at $54 million, right? And if you're the Phoenix Suns, I don't even know what you will have to include to get that deal done. But if you can move Kevin Durant and Grayson Allen, right? If you can make that deal and somehow you're able to get that deal done, and I can run it through the trade machine real quick, but if you're able to get that deal done, tell me that you're not trying to do that, right? If you're Karl Anthony Towns, right, and let's say you probably need 16 to 18 million. Let's say Josh Hart, okay? So then we go Phoenix, and we're like Kevin Durant and Grayson Allen, right? That trade fails. Because the second apron team and the Suns can't take on more in return. So now the Suns got to send probably Cody Martin. You're probably sending Cody Martin out. New York is hard capped, right? So this is a $7 million cap difference. So now the Knicks, you got to throw in another player or two. That's tough to do because you don't have a guy like Mitchell Robinson. You probably need to keep him for defense, right? So if we take out Josh Hart, right, and we add Mikal Bridges to that deal, now we're $2.4 million away. And to get that deal done, you can figure out $2 million. You can figure out $2 million. But I think it's one of those things where you're going to have to figure out, like, if we take Cody Martin out of this deal, right, and instead you include, I don't know, who's a guy that you can include there. Royce O'Neal's probably making too much. Vasily, does that make the deal work? Now we're at under $2 million. You can make that deal. You can figure that deal out.
Yeah.
I think there is a deal to be done between the Suns and the Knicks for Kevin Durant. And it's got to center around KD and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
And it's as simple as that.
And I think it makes sense for both sides.
Because Kevin Durant deserves better. Kevin Durant deserves better. And I hope that we see it. I really hope that we see it.
And I won't believe this nonsense about him and his team prioritizing or viewing San Antonio as a good landing spot until I see it. I just don't think if you're Kevin Durant, you want to go to San Antonio and be part of a build.
I don't want to see.
Go to the Knicks, dude.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see Kevin Durant in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I have no desire for that. Like, looking at these salary cap numbers, I have no desire for that. Right? Like, I can't. That to me does not make a lot of sense. That. Man, I hate that idea. I hate that idea that you're going to put yourself in that. Like, how do you win with that? You're with guys who've never won before. De'Aaron Fox and VW, they've never won before. And now you're having an entire regime change there. Bro, how much does Kevin Durant want to win? That's the biggest question.
Yep.
That's the biggest question. And the answer is, I don't think we know. I don't think we know. And I don't know what it's going to take to get Kevin Durant, but I really hope the Knicks make a run at it. That to me is
I mean that's what the league needs, and I think that the Knicks are a team that when they're good, it is so much better for the NBA. And I'll be honest, I'm ready for a time in the league when we get NBA Finals caliber Lakers team against either Boston or New York. I want that again for the league because we were kind of close to that, but then obviously it didn't work out in LA.
So Pancho Cornwallis was clearly in timeout. He is back and in timeout again for using emojis.
Nice job, dude. Making a choice at some point.
Like, why come in and if you guys put a bunch of emojis in your comments, you're going to get filtered. It's considered spam. So Jeremiah Champion, I love San Antonio. Right. But for San Antonio, does San Antonio represent a chance to write a legacy for Kevin Durant? And does he even care about that? Maybe he doesn't even care about that. Maybe he doesn't even care about that. I don't know. But for my money,
I just wouldn't be there, dude.
I don't feel like it's the right time and space. It's nothing personal to San Antonio. I just don't feel like it's the right time and space for Kevin Durant to end up there. I really don't. Make sure you hit the like button. That really helps the channel grow. Make sure if you are watching on X, and hello to everybody on X. We appreciate you guys watching the show. If you're listening on our audio podcast, just search The Monty Show. Wherever you get a podcast, The Monty Show will come up. Make sure that you guys come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Pistons would be a good fit. I just think, again, Kevin Durant can't risk it on an organization that has not shown the desire to win for over a decade.
Yeah.
That's the tough part about the Pistons. It'd be like Kevin Durant going to the Bulls.
Dude, he's an A-list player. He's going to go to a big market.
He is. And I think that's a very big question. Durant to retirement with the Crybaby and the James, the Beard Harden. Well, you're just looking to sweep some dudes out of the league.
Okay.
San Antonio by morning. Okay. You mean Alonzo Mourning? You guys remember? You don't remember Alonzo Mourning. Durant and Brunson would be a great duel. And if you look at their roster, because I do think that it would, in Phoenix, it would have to be Grayson Allen. If you add Grayson Allen to that Knicks defense, you're going to have a hard time losing games.
Yeah.
Igor to the Jazz at 5. Can we talk about the Jazz real quick? You hired Danny Ainge's son. And it's already awkward. Thanks to our old friend Sean O'Connell, Salt Lake City radio host, asking the question that finally somebody had the balls to ask a question of Ryan Smith.
Sean O'Connell, ESPN 700. As someone correctly stated, seems like a team in a rebuild, and some things were done this past season to potentially manipulate where the team would end up in the draft lottery odds. And unfortunately, some of that is dependent on luck, and team got a little bit unlucky. So do you have a philosophy? What is your philosophy on, for lack of a better term, to be indelicate, tanking or, manipulating minutes and player performance in order to achieve better lottery odds?
We won't see that this year.
Wow, bro. I mean, can you believe he just laid out such a scintillating answer?
So you were saying we saw it last year. That's what you're saying. Because, I mean, that's essentially what he is saying.
First of all, Sean, great question, dude.
Really well done.
Well worded. Like, good job. Like, well done. Second of all, the disgust in Ryan Smith's face as you're asking this question is incredible to me, because it's not rocket science that they did tank, that they were intentionally trying to lose, that they didn't invest in the roster. And I have to say, we've been asking it on the show for 5 years, right? Probably 4 years. Hey, when is someone going to ask Ryan Smith about how long the tank's going to keep going? And now we've reached the day. And this was yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Or the day before. I can't remember.
Yep,
this
yesterday.
week. And I'm just sitting here saying, neat, you can tell us it's not, we're not going to see that this year. But I want to see it out on the floor, dude. And you can say that you're going to take, you're most likely going to use your 4 picks in the draft this year or whatever. But I'll believe it when I see it. And yes, you're going to trade Markkanen. That's going to happen. It's a natural step on the rebuild. Like, you have to do it. But you're doing this in a way where you're not being transparent about it. And this hiring of Danny Ainge's kid, while yes, he's qualified, I feel like came out of left field.
But where are all the haters who were bitching and moaning about LeBron and Bronny? Oh, it's nepotism. He's only there because he's LeBron's son. Where are you at? Where are you at? Where's the nepotism claims and favoritism claims, and he's taken somebody else's spot, and where are you? Nothing? Cat got your cock? Like, what happened? Because I don't hear anybody bitching and moaning about nepotism. And the thing that's amazing to me is that you have a guy in Danny Ainge who's had his hands tied by his owner. And Jazz fans want to vilify Danny Ainge. And to a certain extent, I understand that. The guy that you need to be staring at is not Austin Ainge or Danny Ainge. It's Ryan Smith, the owner of the Jazz, who has done nothing since he bought this team. He has not invested in talent. He has not invested in anything but his pocketbook. That's it. And as somebody who is a Cubs fan, he is doing exactly what the Ricketts family in Chicago did. Build the stadium, make more money, pay off my debt, and then I'll consider spending money on a roster.
And do it under the guise of, oh, the stadium renovations are for you.
And look at the hockey demand where we screwed up the trademark. And don't forget those purple shorts we forgot to order.
And don't forget all the outrage we caused in our local market by putting out the hockey club's logo in the pride colorway, which pissed off all the religious folks in this town. Like, with all due respect, dude, like, you're not operating this in a good way. And I'm not interested in getting into what you think about pride or what you think about purple jerseys or there's a very clear way to go about this. There's a very clear, we are in Salt Lake City. Yes, no.
And where are all the Mammoth fans? Oh, we're making the playoffs. He's doing everything he can. Bullshit. He didn't do everything he could to make the NHL playoffs.
No.
Stop with that nonsense. He's doing everything he can to make more money. And all of the lapdogs that go and buy the $1 hot dogs and, oh, it's family night and we get ice cream. Cool. And yet he gets control of like the entirety of downtown, or at least the valuable part of downtown on your dime. And there's no,
without ever asking, by the way.
There's nothing that you can do about it. And he has no edict to win games. None. And yet you guys want to sit here and bitch about LeBron and his kid, but will say nothing about Danny Ainge and his kid now running the Jazz. You have nothing to say about that. It's amazing to me. It is. And if you are a Utahn and you don't believe that Larry Miller is absolutely spinning in his grave over this bullshit, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just, and Austin Ainge, look at the way Austin Ainge is looking at Sean O'Connell.
Sean O'Connell, ESPN 700. As someone correctly stated, seems like a team in a rebuild, and some things were done this past season to potentially manipulate where the team would end up in the draft lottery odds. And unfortunately, some of that is dependent on luck, and team got a little bit unlucky. So do you have a philosophy? What is your philosophy on, for lack of a better term, to be indelicate, tanking or, manipulating minutes and player performance in order to achieve better lottery odds?
You won't see that this year.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for that. Because I don't know. I appreciate he asked the question. How was Ainge going to answer that question? Well, yeah, we're going to tank 2 more years, and then once the stadium's done and the hockey team's got what they need, we'll get our needs. Right? Like, I don't know. I'm telling you now, Ryan Smith needs a win. He needs a win desperately, because I think the shine and the luster's off the turd now. He got billions of dollars of taxpayer money, and he has to do nothing, and nobody is overseeing him. Congratulations on the shopping mall project. Where's the win? Where's the winning Jazz team? Everybody who said I didn't know what I was talking about with Jordan Clarkson, how'd that work out for you? It's one of the worst decisions that's ever been made in this organization's history. And when you trade Lauri Markkanen, because you will trade him this summer, in my opinion, if you're a Jazz fan, that's probably not a day you want to watch this show.
No.
Because yeah, it is what it is. Again, Monty, I'll say it again. Utah sports are a joke. Terrible. It's all the buddy network. It's all the buddy system.
Yep.
Whether it is even the Salt Lake Bees, and everybody's all excited. We're getting a Major League Baseball team. Why? Why?
Why do we need that here, dude?
We don't. Because people in Salt Lake are so desperate to be a Major League town when it's not. When it's not. Because you can't financially support a winning NBA team and a winning hockey team. You can't. There's not enough fandom here. And in my opinion, there was no desire, there was no demand for an NHL franchise here. None whatsoever. Something ain't right about Ainge. Could be.
Yeah, he just comes off as very arrogant, and it's clear he got hired because he's Danny's kid. And I understand he was the head coach of a G League affiliate. He had scouting experience. Like, I get it. That doesn't mean that you're one of the quotes that they think he's one of the most respected executives in the league. Okay, dude. Okay. Right.
Come on. Sean looks like so pompous and elitist. Austin Ainge.
Austin.
Yeah. I'd rather drink hot dog water than support any Utah pro sports team. Show me you want to win. Show me you want to win. Dude, I can afford season tickets. I spend my money on the Cubs. I don't spend it on the Jazz. I'm not going to spend it on the Mammoth. Be better. Oh, look, Oak State James is back. Isn't that nice? That's great. If Lauri is traded, they better get at least 2 or 3 draft picks and a good player. You would think. Because Larry wanted it. Yeah, he did. He wanted to win.
Yep.
Larry wanted to win. And Larry knew, pretty much like everybody else knows, that you have to have a prenup when you get married as a rich man. That's a transition. That's called a transition.
James, uniquely qualified to talk about this.
Correct. Did you guys see the story that good old Trav, which is Travis Hunter, did not get a prenup? He got married to the girl who was allegedly smashing with other bros. Allegedly.
You are not the guy.
Who did all this other stuff and controversies. They got married, and he did not get a prenup. Was it a mistake?
Yeah, I think it was. I think when you're the stature of Travis Hunter, when you've got what he has wealth-wise, future earnings, of course. I've always subscribed to the idea that it shouldn't be a problem to agree to leave the relationship with what you came into it with. And I think that, there's 2 schools of thoughts when it comes down to this. Prenups. One school of thought is, hey, well, why do we need a prenup, right? If you're getting a prenup before your relationship, aren't you just saying that you don't believe the relationship's going to work long term?
No, that's not at all what I'm saying.
And hang on, I'm not saying that either. I think that that's the pressure cooker question. But the reality of the situation is that nobody is a fortune teller 20 years in advance. Nobody knows what's going to happen, how any of this is going to go down. Like, nobody knows, bro. I don't know what decision somebody's going to make 20 years from now, late at night. I have no idea. And so for me, I just don't think it should be that much of a problem. I don't think asking to do a prenup means that you're getting into a marriage with someone on what most people describe as a bad faith basis, not fully bought in that it's going to work. I don't believe that at all. I think that it is a logical step that protects both parties and makes it so that there is never a time or a place when you're only in the relationship for money or for clout. That's what I think it does, especially for dudes at Travis Hunter's level.
And what I will tell you is, if you are with a woman who says, I won't marry you if we have to have a prenup, then you're not with that woman anymore. Because if you have financial wealth and you're marrying somebody who does not, it's not necessarily, the agreement does not say, hey, you're leaving with nothing if we get divorced in 5 years. What it says is, hey, we're getting married and you're not marrying me for my money. That's what it says. And it protects you financially, and it protects your future earnings down the road. And it has nothing to do with how much or how little you love somebody. It's a business transaction. And if you're with somebody who refuses to sign a prenuptial agreement, you're probably not with the right person. It's as simple as that. And to me, the idea that you're a bad person for asking for a prenup is completely ridiculous. Go look at Rachel Ray's divorce. Go look at Adele's divorce. Should they have had a prenup? Right? Like, you look at the people who win and lose. It's not the man versus the woman. It's the money versus the not money. And the truth is, money makes people do terrible things, because when you don't have money, usually all you're focused on is getting money. And I think you are a fool if you are somebody of Travis Hunter's level and you do not get a prenup when you get married. It's absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy. You are saying, please come and take my money.
Yeah.
And I hope they are happily married for the rest of their lives. She does not strike me as that kind of cat. Not based on the reports. If the reports are true, I just, you know. Chewy Gonzalez for $2. As what Drake said, hit him with the prenup.
Yeah, I just don't think that it's listen, very few people are in Travis Hunter's position, and I think that it's, listen, I don't know if he ever considered it or if they ever talked about it. Obviously, I have no idea. Maybe they mutually decided that was the best thing for them. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is when you are an athlete the way Travis Hunter is, and you don't have a prenup and you get married, you decided you were good with that outcome if it goes that way. Like, you made that decision. I don't care how much it upsets someone. I agree. If you're not willing to, if you're a woman saying, hey, I'll only marry you without a prenup, that tells me what I need to know. And unfortunately, that probably happens more than we'd like to talk about, but it's what I've been saying all week, like with the Retzloff stuff and other things. We make decisions as dudes, and this is definitely one of those topics.
And I will just continue to tell you, prenups are a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I want a $10 million balloon payment if we get divorced. Negotiate. You have no right to my future earnings.
You should be okay saying that because you're not here for the money.
If we get divorced within 1 year, you get nothing. If we get divorced within 5 years, you get $1 million. If we are together 25 years, you get $50 million or whatever. Right? And if you truly are in a position where that's offensive to you, you're not in the right relationship. So let's get your thoughts on it. Delaric, he just lost half of the rest of his life. Potentially. I'm not hoping they get divorced. I'm just saying it was a bad business decision.
And listen, let's also put it in perspective too. I mean, this dude, what's his rookie deal worth? I don't know what his rookie deal is worth, but think about the amount of money his rookie deal is worth. Like,
it's not even his rookie deal.
But here's my point. I'm just trying to put this into perspective. I understand it's about future earnings too, but dude losing half of 50 mil means that he's still got 25 mil and he's still in a fine position, right? Nobody wants to lose that much money.
His net worth is estimated to be $6 million before the NFL draft.
Okay. $6 million before the NFL draft. Okay. If you lost $3 million, you still got $3 million. You're still in a great place in life. You are not broke or poor or in some awful situation.
But does his wife deserve money from Adidas, Celsius, Panini, Panera Bread?
She does now, yes, because he made that decision.
Now.
Yes.
She does now.
Yes.
He apparently has significant real estate investments, which is smart. And he signed a NFL contract worth 4 years, $46.6 million.
This is what I said about Belichick. Are they going to have a prenup?
Most assuredly.
Right? Like, think about that situation. Think how different that dynamic is than Travis's dynamic, right? Travis's dynamic is, two young people who clearly are in love and want to get married and have a relationship. And that's great. That's great. He's taken a ton of flack for this girl. There are multiple pictures out there of her sleeping with other people and doing other things and yada, yada, going around the internet and all that. But I don't know, man. I think that it's just not, it is not uncouth to do a prenup. It's not some negative, indictment on your relationship to agree to that. I think, in my opinion, prenups, now I've never had the opportunity to do one, but in my opinion, it's a measure of one's character on some level initially, right? Hey, if you're not willing to do a prenup, like what are you here for?
Yeah.
If you're not willing to say, yeah, I'm good, we can do a prenup, because I'm not here for the money. I'm here for you and supporting you and being with you and building life together. And if you so choose, having kids and doing all that, like, that's what I'm here for.
And that's the question, because James Sexton, who's a massive divorce attorney, told TMZ today about how, I think it was in the TMZ interview where he talked about how when you get divorced after children, it's exponentially more expensive. They offered every NFL draft pick a free prenup, no questions asked, complete and total anonymity. Not one took them up on it. Like, that's crazy to me. And I just think you're taking a huge risk. I think it's a big mistake. And I think guys usually, especially when kids are involved, for obvious reasons, when kids are involved, guys face far more exposure.
No doubt about it.
And I understand that women give up careers and sacrifice significantly through pregnancy, but I am a big believer that men need to protect themselves and protect their wealth and their future earnings. And it's Jake Retzloff's a very good example. Trevor Bauer is a very good example. When you put your future earnings in jeopardy with the decisions you make, you are making the wrong decisions.
Yeah. And I used to be on the side of, hey, like, it's not a great look to be asking for that up front. But I just think that in today's world, with how volatile life is, like, dude, I can't afford to lose half of the money I have. Like, that's not a possibility. That can't happen, bro.
Jake is famous for telling me when he was a toddler, he didn't like the way I treated women. So he learned lessons the hard way. Isn't that right, Jake?
Yeah. Yeah. That was me speaking from my own heart,
I think it's very interesting how the way that men are perceived versus women in relationships, whether it's domestic violence or divorces or visitation and custody battles, it's crazy.
Yes.
Women always win in court. In 9 out of 10 of those situations, women win in court. And if you're Travis Hunter, I just think it's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. All right. As always, the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Been in a wreck? Get hurt at work? Last thing you should be thinking about is how you're going to afford that consultation fee. Yeah, you don't pay one at The Advocates. It costs you nothing to talk to one of the best injury attorneys in the business. You can do it right now. In fact, you can do it 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow. Say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.